On former Ghanaian Mohamed Kudus scored twice in the week, and we be key once again, whilst Lucas Paqueta has shaken off a calf problem to start playing behind fit again lone striker Mikel Antonio. Having won 4 of the last 6 Premier League games, Villa meanwhile are without captain John McGinn, who starts the first match of a ban after receiving a straight red in the 4-0 loss to Tottenham. They make 4 changes in all from their just as impressive 4-0 winner over Ajax. Main news is top scorer Ollie Watkins has shaken off a knee injury to lead the line with John Duran, who makes his first Premier League start. Konsa and Longley come into defence, and Yuri Tielemans deputises for McGinn. West Ham have had the better of this fixture in recent times, unbeaten in the last 8 since 2011 at this ground, but Villa won 4-1 back in October. Expecting a cracker in this one. It's West Ham Villa in about 40 minutes.
This is Football Live.
From the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
You are listening to Football Live. Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
Join find a corner where the big boys play.
Next weekend is an international break.
Oh yeah!
Football Live will be back in 2 weeks' time.
1, 2, 3, run it!
Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
It's time to get straight into the action
When you hear that noise, you know there's been a goal.
with the best reporters in the business.
What an afternoon of football. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've got even more coming up for you.
With the best unrivaled football coverage on the air.
Football Live really is the place to be this afternoon.
If you're betting on sports this week, why not make your money go further? Sign up to NairaBet for 11 days of risk-free betting. If your bet loses, you will get your stake back as a free bet up to 2,000 Naira. All you need to do is register a new account with NairaBet today and qualify to get up to 22,000 Naira in free bets. Visit www.nairabet.com/bonus for more information. General and free bet terms apply. Must be over 18. Must be KYC approved. Must place a qualifying bet. Bet must include football, tennis or basketball markets. Please gamble responsibly.
Football Live. Football's never sounded so good. On Brila FM every Saturday and Sunday.
The goals, the team news, all the updates, all the key action, scores from around Europe's top leagues, exclusive interviews, breaking news. This is Football Live. Let's get back to the action on Football Live.
Hit it, boys.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Alex Guilford.
Yes, welcome to Football Live with me, Alex Guilford. We're going to be getting an update from Stamford Bridge. There's a couple of things going on there. We need to bring you updates from courtesy of Johnny Holmes. But before we do any of that, Andrew Bonacore, our superb Italian correspondent, has got the team news from Verona, where AC Milan are in town. A very good afternoon to you, Andrew.
Good afternoon to you, Alex. Well, Rafael Leao, Alessandro Florenzi, Pierre Kalulu and keeper Mike Maignan are back in the Milan starting lineup with a surprise start up front for Noah Okafor as centre forward. Okafor's father is Nigerian, but he plays his international football for Switzerland. For Verona, Thomas Henry is suspended after the incident with the Lecce head coach last week, so Pavel Davidovic comes in. Verona are now out of the bottom 3 thanks to 2 wins on the spin. Milan need the win to keep their noses ahead of Juventus in second place. Should be a great game at the Stadio Bentagordi. Stand by for Verona versus AC Milan.
Thank you very much indeed, Andrew. Let's head to Stamford Bridge then and have a quick catch up with Johnny Holmes, because Johnny, as I mentioned a few moments ago, there's quite a lot to bring us updates on, frankly.
Yeah, chances for both sides. Leicester with Dewsbury Hall on left-hand side. Witts across in, looking for Fatawu at the back post, who was lurking dangerously. It's well cleared away by Cucurella, who had to nod the ball behind with the on-rushing Fatawu in behind him. Chelsea up the other end with an opportunity as well. Mudryk blasting a powerful shot towards goal, but Jakub Stolarczyk was equal to it and batted it away from goal. It looked like Sanchez in the Chelsea goal was slightly injured, had a bit of a problem. The trainer came on, checked him out. He seems to be A-OK. Chelsea won, Leicester 0 after 34 minutes.
Thanks very much indeed, Johnny. Still 1-0 to Chelsea in the FA Cup. Just to remind you, we will be bringing you updates from West Ham against Aston Villa from 3 p.m. Western African time, as well as Verona against AC Milan. Then from 3:30, it's Freiburg against Bayer Leverkusen. From 4, Leeds United at home to Millwall in the Championship. Villarreal against Valencia in La Liga at 4:15. And then at 4:30, Manchester United against Liverpool in the FA Cup. Let's have an update on all of the latest odds from NaiRaBet.com, courtesy of our wonderful producer, Barry Swain.
Yes, thank you very much, Alex. Let's quickly begin with the game at Stamford Bridge, which is, of course, 1-0 to Chelsea. Chelsea 1.25 to go on and win this game. It's 6.00 for the draw, and the Championship side Leicester are currently 11.0 for the victory. In France, 66 minutes gone. Lille are leading 1-0 away at Brest. The odds, I've just about read you the odds there, but they've now been suspended, so something's obviously going on in that game. No goals so far in the game between Juventus and Genoa. That is 0-0. And the odds, would you believe? I think someone's playing with my computer here, because the odds have been suspended on that one as well. 92 minutes gone in that game. Juventus 0, Genoa 0. That could be a big point away from home for Genoa. The game between Rangers and Dundee in Scotland at Dundee's Dens Park has been postponed, so no odds on that one either. In the German Bundesliga, finally, it's Hertha Berlin 3, Schalke 2. Hertha 1.4 to win that victory against the Schalke side struggling. That's in Bundesliga sway, by the way. 7.5 for the away victory. Half time in this game, by the way. 4.5 for the draw.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Barry. Just to remind you, our feature game of the afternoon is between Chelsea and Leicester in the FA Cup. Newcastle United and Chelsea fought out an entertaining game at Stamford Bridge on Monday night, which Chelsea ran out 3-2 winners in, and it was an extra special day for Chelsea centre-back Axel Disasi because it was his birthday on Monday. Let's hear what he had to say after the game on Monday in advance of this afternoon's game.
The team play good. We stick together until the end, and yeah, I'm very happy after this game. And now I will enjoy with my family. Yeah, as you said, the spirit was there. We play all together. We see that we can achieve many things when we are like this. So we have to keep the spirit, because we will need this for the rest of the season.
Axel Disasi there talking about celebrating his birthday and a Chelsea victory on Monday night over Newcastle United in the Premier League with his family, which is nice. It was a good result for Chelsea, puts them to 11th in the season, and perhaps most importantly, put them within 1 point of Newcastle United in the Premier League, and they've still got a game in hand over their rivals, so a potential opportunity for Chelsea to drag themselves above Newcastle United after what was a pretty disastrous first half of the season, I think it's fair to say. But in the last 5 games, they've got 2 wins, 2 draws, and only 1 defeat. So perhaps the mighty Blues are turning a corner at some point soon, or perhaps they will be very much in the ascendancy as we head to the run-in. The Champions League places just look a little bit out of reach at the moment. They're 15 points off Aston Villa in 4th currently, but a European slot very much within reach. They're only 4 points off 7th placed West Ham, who are in the 7th place, gets you a slot in the Conference League come season's end. Just to remind you what we've got coming up, the big game in the FA Cup currently is Chelsea against Leicester. A little bit later on, it's Manchester United against Liverpool at Old Trafford. And we are going to get a little update there. Let's get an update ahead of that game from Jurgen Klopp about Liverpool's injury problem at the moment.
Yeah, I'm always definitely ready. Ibu didn't train today. We have to see if he can train tomorrow. But it will be a tight race, which we probably lose, but you don't know. Bobby felt much better. That was uncomfortable, got knocked there, little swelling, and that swelling led to the feeling that there might be something more serious, but it's not. So he's fine. Yeah, that's it. Ryan trained today again, so he's ready as well. And the others, some of the others are after international break.
We will be crossing back to the Brilla FM studio very soon. Have your say on today's action and interact with Brilla FM on Twitter at Brilla FM 889, on Facebook at 889 Brilla FM, and on Instagram Brilla FM 889.
Yes, that was Jurgen Klopp talking about his team's injury news ahead of their game this afternoon at Old Trafford. Doesn't seem to be quite as much to worry about as there was a few weeks ago for Jurgen Klopp. Something nothing particularly new to worry about. We're approaching half-time in Chelsea's game at home to Leicester City in the FA Cup. So let's swing over to Stamford Bridge and have a chat with Johnny Holmes, who's still there for us, of course. Johnny, most of the chances so far in this game have gone Chelsea's way, certainly in the early phases. Have Leicester managed to get themselves back in this?
Yeah, Leicester are not out of this game by any stretch of the imagination. They've had a couple of chances here and there, and with Sterling not taking that opportunity from the spot, you feel like if Leicester could get a goal in this tie, they would be right up for it and right in it. A couple of moments where Robert Sanchez in the Chelsea goal has come out for crosses. He's showing slight signs of an injury. We saw the trainer come on earlier on, and he's not been able to get out with any verve or gusto to claim those crosses, which is an incentive for Leicester to try and whip balls into the box. An interesting challenge for Leicester. They see themselves as a Premier League side. They're fighting, of course, to win the Championship title. So this is a good test for them. Can they stand strong against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge? Chelsea do lead by 1-0 after 41 minutes.
Thanks very much indeed, Johnny. Just to update you with the scores on the doors across the rest of Europe at the moment. It's currently Brest 0, Lille 1. In Ligue 1 in France. In La Liga, Sevilla currently lead Celta Vigo by 1-0. Rafael Benitez, of course, he got the chop this week, didn't he? He was in charge at Celta until this, I think it was about Wednesday evening. He was axed by the Celta Vigo board after a disappointing 4-0 defeat at the Bernabeu last weekend. But of course, Real Madrid are the league leaders there, so perhaps a little bit harshly done by. But in truth, Celta, I think they're only a couple of points above the relegation zone in La Liga at the moment. So not the most surprising news in the world to see Rafael Benitez lose his job there. In the Scottish Premiership, there was only one game that should be being played this afternoon. That was Dundee at home to Rangers, but that game has been game's been called off. Couldn't quite find the word there. In the German Bundesliga 2, it's Hamburg 1, Veren 0, Hertha Berlin 3, Schalke 2, Karlsruhe 4, Magdeburg, 0. Just to remind you that we're bringing you updates from West Ham against Aston Villa from 3 o'clock, Verona against Milan, also 3 p.m. kickoff. 3:30 is Freiburg, Bayer Leverkusen here on Football Live. At 4, it's Leeds against Millwall. 4:15, Villarreal against Valencia. 4:30, it's Manchester United against Liverpool. We've already heard from Jurgen Klopp about the injuries, the improving injury problems at Liverpool at the moment. So let's have another little hear from him about what his thoughts are ahead of this afternoon's game against Manchester United.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not sure if that's exactly what you call enjoyment, but I'm looking forward to it. So it's a good thing. Come on, we can take 9,000 people, I think. More tickets, 9,000 people, Old Trafford, Manchester United. Yeah, that's definitely. Ask me after the game if I enjoyed it. But before the game, it's just work. We try to be as good prepared as somehow possible. And United had obviously a full week to prepare. Erik ten Hag is a really good manager. He will prepare them. He knows exactly how we play. So we'll face there some challenges we don't know in the moment. That's how it is. We don't have this time to prepare like this for an opponent and have to be ready anyway. So yes, as much as it is possible, I enjoy it.
Jurgen Klopp there saying as much as it's possible to enjoy the build-up to a game like this, he does. Interesting to see him talking positively about his counterpart at Old Trafford as well, wasn't it? Talking in pretty positive terms there about Erik ten Hag, whose Manchester United side have, I think it's fair to say, their form has fluctuated so far this season. But enough of that. We can catch up on Erik ten Hag a little bit later on. But I can announce that there has been a goal at Stamford Bridge.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, it has gone the way of Chelsea. Perhaps unsurprisingly, we are more or less on the stroke of half-time in the game there at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and the Championship side Leicester. This game, of course, in the FA Cup. Johnny Holmes is there for us. Johnny, tell us how Chelsea have doubled their lead.
Yeah, they've done it through Cole Palmer, but Raheem Sterling had just missed a massive chance for Chelsea, and he makes amends here with his run on the left-hand side, frees up a little bit of space. It's flicked on by Mudryk, and Sterling wins the ball well, heads it down to himself, and then slides it across, and there's Cole Palmer, another tap in at the front post. He's chased by the defender, he's chased by Vestergaard, but there's nothing that can be done. Cole Palmer slides the ball home past Stolashik, who's had a great game, but there's nothing he could do about that one. It's Chelsea 2, Leicester 0, 46 minutes played.
Thank you very much indeed. Johnny Holmes, slightly better form for Raheem Sterling, having missed that penalty earlier in the half. Couple of minutes before we're handing briefly back to FJ in the studio in Nigeria. Before we do that, we're going to have a little listen to what Erik ten Hag had to say ahead of this afternoon's FA Cup fixture between Manchester United and Liverpool. We've heard what Jurgen Klopp had to say, so it only feels right to hear what the Manchester United manager had to say for himself.
There's some games are bigger than others, that's definitely, and I think Manchester United, Liverpool, that's always a big game, but especially when it's quarter-final FA Cup, we're really looking forward. It's a special game, absolutely. Yeah, but of course, to the fans, they see it as a very big game, and they are very eager for us to win this, and I'm sure they will ride behind us. And as you mentioned, there are more Liverpool fans, so they have to be really loud to support us, that we heard them. But I'm convinced they will do that.
Erik ten Hag there talking about the build-up to this. It's a mouth-watering FA Cup quarter-final contest, isn't it, between Manchester United and Liverpool? Absolutely unique competition, the FA Cup, in so many ways, that you can get a sort of a game like Chelsea at home to Leicester City this afternoon, and Manchester United at home to Liverpool. Let's have a quick catch up with Johnny Holmes, because it's just struck half time at Stamford Bridge. And Conor Gallagher's just narrowly missed an opportunity there. So, Johnny, we'll get an update from you super quickly.
Yeah, indeed. A shot right on half-time by Conor Gallagher from distance, whipped it just wide. But Chelsea do go into the break with a 2-0 lead. It was a bit of a tough half for Raheem Sterling, but he ended it strongly by setting up the second goal for Cole Palmer, a tap-in similar to the first, which was knocked in by Mark Cucurella, assisted by the brilliant Nicholas Jackson on the right-hand side. Did really well to beat Vestergaard and slot the ball for an unmissable strike to Cucurella. Chelsea lead by 2-0 over Leicester at half-time.
Thanks very much, Johnny. This is Football Live.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Alex Guilford.
Yes, indeed. It is Football Live exclusive on Brilla FM. My name is indeed Alex Guilford. Thanks very much for joining us on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. The grey skies are just starting to clear outside our studio here in London, and we are bringing you updates from across the country as well as the rest of the continent. Johnny Holmes will be bringing us second half updates from Chelsea against Leicester City at Stamford Bridge. Then from 3 p.m. We will be getting updates from West Ham against Aston Villa, courtesy of Richard Bond. Verona against AC Milan, courtesy of Andrew Bonacore. Then at 3:30, we've got Freiburg against Bayer Leverkusen, courtesy of our latest addition to the Football Live family, Gabe Frith. Then at 4 p.m., we've got Leeds against Millwall with Duka Dobmer. Villarreal against Valencia from 4:15, thanks to Jack Hesson. And from 4:30, Edward Dowling is bringing us FA Cup quarter-final updates between Manchester United and Chelsea. Just to remind you, elsewhere in Serie A, of course, we are bringing you updates from Verona against AC Milan, but the game has just finished between Juventus and Genoa. Dusan Vlahovic was sent off in the dying embers of the game in the 93rd minute, the third minute of injury time. But the game there in Turin finished 0-0. Andrew Bonacore is with us. Maybe we'll be testing his mettle just a bit later on once he's bringing us updates from the game in Serie A. Be picking his expertise about the rest of the Serie A table. Inter Milan, of course, at the moment, pretty much runaway leaders at the moment. And I think the result this afternoon, I could be wrong, but I think it means that Juventus move into second place, narrowly ahead of AC Milan on goal difference. But of course, AC Milan will be playing in about 10 minutes time or so at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea have had 9 shots on target, 9 shots on goal in that first half, 4 of which they managed to get on target. Leicester City only managed to rouse 3 shots altogether and didn't manage to get a single one on target. They have just kicked off there at Stamford Bridge, actually. So let's cross there briefly and have another chat with our wonderful reporter, Johnny Holmes, who's doing a superb job talking us through events at Stamford Bridge. Johnny, any halftime news to bring us?
Yeah, no changes from what I can see here at Stamford Bridge. I think you have to say that with a 2-0 lead, Chelsea, it is very much theirs to lose now. You know, the Premier League side against the Championship side, as Chelsea did just kick us off a couple of moments ago. Leicester weren't completely out of it, had a couple of chances, a bouncing volley from Harry Winks early on, a couple of crosses deep towards Abdul Fatawu at the back post. But Chelsea have defended well. Cucurella has looked very strong, very solid. And also a shout out for Jakub Stolashik in the Leicester goal, who made some fantastic saves. Nothing he could have done about the 2 goals. They were both tap-ins, very much the ball played across him and nothing he could have done. But he saved Sterling's penalty. He made himself big when Sterling was through on goal and made a couple of good saves from Mudryk as well. As things stand, Chelsea 2, Leicester 0, and we've just kicked off in the second half.
Thanks, Johnny. We'll stick with you for a second because I did ask you earlier in the first half what you made of Mykhailo Mudryk's performance so far. You said he'd sort of not really been involved in the game. Just curious to know whether that changed at all as the first half progressed. Did he find himself in and amongst it from a Chelsea point of view?
Yeah, he played his way in the first half, and actually towards the end was showing some good touches and looked pretty comfortable and at ease with his role as a number 10, just in behind Nicholas Jackson, which I think, you know, as time goes on and he plays the position more and more often, I think it's a role that he could excel at. He looks comfortable and confident in the middle of the park. Sometimes we see, you know, on the left and the right hand side, sort of playing on the wing, Mudryk's end product is called into question. You know, his final ball or his efforts on goal aren't always the strongest, but in that number 10 role, he's pulling the strings a bit more, and maybe less pressure and less onus on his ability to finish and more on his ability to link the play up, which I've been impressed with so far. Let's see how that continues. Chelsea 2, Leicester 0 after 46 minutes.
Superb stuff. Johnny Holmes, thank you very much. We'll be bringing you updates from Stamford Bridge as and when we need to cross to Johnny for them. Leicester City top of the Championship at the moment, only by a single point from Ipswich Town, who they managed to bag themselves a victory yesterday. Leicester City a point superior to them, but they have got a game in hand over their opponent, so a chance to sort of extend that when they're due to play. Just to remind you what we've got coming up for you on Football Live this afternoon. More updates from the second half of Chelsea against Leicester City from Stamford Bridge will be coming your way at 3 p.m. West Ham host Aston Villa, and Richard Bond is there for us, 4th against 7th in the Premier League. Then to Serie A, where Andrew Bonacore will be in Verona, where AC Milan are in town, 15th in Serie A at the moment. Verona, they'd love a victory this afternoon just to put a bit of breathing room between themselves and the relegation zone, but AC Milan are desperate. It just looks like they probably won't be able to catch their rivals Inter at the top of Serie A this season. Inter absolutely in cruise control, domestically speaking. Of course, they are lost on penalties in midweek in the Champions League to Atletico Madrid. So you have to say they've probably only got the league to focus on now for the remainder of the season. Nonetheless, AC Milan will be desperate for a victory this afternoon. Freiburg against Bayer Leverkusen, courtesy of Gabe Frith. Of course, Bayer Leverkusen looking to extend their lead at the top of the Bundesliga after Bayern Munich. They ran out 4-2 winners yesterday with Harry Kane bagging a brace. Then from 4 o'clock, Duka Dobmer's bringing us updates from Leeds against Millwall. Leeds United are still in the hunt. It's fair to say they're still in the hunt for an automatic automatic promotion spot from the Championship. They're 2 points behind second place Ipswich Town. With one game in hand. Of course, that game is against Millwall this afternoon. So they'd love to get automatic promotion back into the Premier League, wouldn't they, Leeds United? And we are then bringing you updates from La Liga, where Villarreal and Valencia are playing each other from 4:15, 12th v 8th in La Liga. In La Liga elsewhere, it's half-time in the game between Sevilla and Celta Vigo. 1-0 to Sevilla is the latest score. From 4:30, Manchester United against Liverpool in the quarter-final of the FA Cup, courtesy of Edward Dowling. So lots to keep you up to date with. Let's cross back over to Johnny Holmes because, Johnny, it seems to be pretty end-to-end stuff at the moment at Stamford Bridge. What's the latest there since we last spoke?
Chelsea are certainly in control of this game, as you would expect. They lead by 2 goals to the good against Leicester. They're whipping the balls into the box. They are the side that are in control of proceedings at the moment. So it seems that Chelsea are looking good so far, but I think I'm going to hand back to you now, mate, because I believe there's been a goal.
There's certainly, I think, something dangerous appears to be happening. Betting's currently suspended on NairoBet.com in the game between Chelsea and Leicester.
The goals, powered by NairoBet.
There's been a goal at Stamford Bridge. Just when we were talking to Johnny Holmes at Stamford Bridge, there has been an absolutely extraordinary goal for the away side, Leicester. Sorry, Johnny, absolute chaos here in the Football Live studio. What on earth is going on there?
Well, I was talking to you, Alex, about Chelsea dominating possession, and they were holding the ball in Leicester's half, and they were in complete control. A throw-in back to Axel Disasi, and it's a Disasi disaster as he plays the ball back into his own net. Robert Sanchez absolutely nowhere to be seen. He's expecting the pass. He asks for it. Disasi doesn't look up, doesn't look where his goalkeeper is, and just curls it into the back of his own net. I've never seen the like. Chelsea have conceded out of absolutely nothing, under no pressure whatsoever. Complete mishit, howler from Disasi, and Leicester have got one back. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1, 51 minutes played.
I have just I've got a monitor here in the Football Live studio, and I've just seen a replay. We were just talking about we heard from Axel Disasi, of course, a little bit earlier in the show because he was very pleased, obviously, with his side's victory on Monday night, which came on his birthday. He has rounded off his birthday week in the most disastrous fashion I think I've ever seen. He was under absolutely he was under a bit of pressure, I think it's fair to say, but he's about 40 yards from goal and stuck it in with his left foot. I think it's fair to say on our communication channels that we've got available here on Football Live. I think it's probably fair to say, I think it's only right, Johnny Holmes, that I'm afraid I'm going to put you in it here, but I have to claim copyright to Barry Swain on the line Disasi Disaster, because it was Barry Swain's line on our communication channel here on Football Live. Although I think possibly Johnny Holmes, I mean, he's quite a craftsman when it comes to the English language, so probably could have got it himself, but nonetheless, it's an absolutely fantastic line. In fact, Barry Swain says he's happy for Johnny to have it, producer Barry, this afternoon, of course. So absolutely extraordinary goings on. If you get a chance, do look that one up on social media or wherever you get your highlights from. Normally the game between Verona and AC Milan is about to get underway in just a few moments' time. So too is West Ham against Aston Villa in half an hour. At 3:30 Western African time, we'll be bringing you updates from Freiburg against Bayer Leverkusen. From 4, it's Leeds United against Millwall, Villarreal against Valencia at 4:15. Then 4:30, it's Manchester United against Liverpool. Let's cross back to Johnny Holmes at Stamford Bridge. Johnny, sorry, I had to be fair and give that to Barry. I hope you understand. Also, he's the boss as well, isn't he? So we've got to give him credit wherever we can, because he does a wonderful job steering the ship here on Football Live. But Johnny, there's been a chance for Chelsea saved by the Leicester City goalkeeper, who you were praising a few moments ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And Barry very kindly allowing me to pretend that I came up with that line all by myself. But brilliant stuff by Barry, our producer, helping me out with my reports as well. But yes, some more normal action, shall we say, after that bizarre own goal. Chelsea on the front foot, trying to put that moment behind them. And Caicedo drilled a shot that was well saved by Jakub Stolashik. And yes, indeed, I've been very impressed by him. He's made some smart saves. He's unlucky to see his side 2-0 down. Nothing he could have done about both goals. Another smart stop here. It's Chelsea 2, Leicester 1 after 54 minutes.
Thank you very much indeed, Johnny. We'll be heading to Andrea Buonocore in Verona in a few moments' time, because the teams are out on the pitch there, where, of course, in case you needed reminding, AC Milan are in town. But let's go to the London Stadium, where Richard Bond is watching the game between West Ham United and Aston Villa. Very good afternoon to you once again, Richard. Opening stages of the game there. How are the teams shaping up?
Yeah, we just got underway here between West Ham and Aston Villa, about half a minute on the clock. Both sides be looking to get the 3 points today in this tie, having come in off the back of really good European wins and not such great results last weekend. Villa, particularly from that 4-0 loss against Tottenham, be looking to solidify their position in that top 4, whilst West Ham can close the gap on Manchester United to 1 point if they win today. But yeah, no goals so far. We've got a minute played. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. I promised you we'd cross to the wonderful Andrea Buonocore in Verona for us. I promise you we'd cross to him, and we will now, because the game between Verona and AC Milan has just kicked off, Andrew.
Yeah, just kicked off. It's a fairly smoky stadium, the Stadio Bentegodi here. Let's say that the Verona fans are out in their droves, and almost every one of them has brought a smoke flare. But Milan very much heartened by the draw that you mentioned. Juventus held at home, unfortunately losing their main striker Dusan Vlahovic as well. So a chance for Milan to put some daylight between Juventus. Juventus have just snuck ahead of them in second place in Serie A on goal difference only. So a victory today would put a very, very welcome 3 points in between themselves and Juventus. Slightly experimental from Stefano Pioli today, but I think when you're away to Verona, not Serie A's best team, should we say, and yeah, it's a good opportunity for Stefano Pioli to try a few things out because he's got a lot of strength on the bench if things start to go wrong. So just coming up to the second minute of the game, and looking forward to an interesting match. It's still Verona 0, Milan 0.
Thanks, Andrew. We'll just stick with you for a moment, if we may. I'd just be curious to know what you think AC Milan fans will make of their season this season so far. They're obviously 16 points behind rivals Inter, albeit they are sort of narrowly in third place at the moment on goal difference, a chance to go 3 points clear of Juventus, who are third if they get a victory here this afternoon. I mean, at the start of the season, obviously there was a lot of personnel changes at Milan over the summer. Christian Pulisic came in, Samu Chukwueze came in. There's a bit of doubt at the moment over Olivier Giroud's future as well. I mean, what's your assessment of what AC Milan fans will make of their season so far?
They're an interesting club because there's always something going on. Stefano Pioli, almost for the entirety of this season and much of last season, has been on the verge of getting the sack. So much chatter in the halls at AC Milan. Even the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic allegedly brought in to try and find a successor to Pioli, but he's still there and very quietly has led his team all the way to second place in Serie A. They're a long way behind their city rivals Inter, but as you say, lots of changes in personnel, but one in particular, Pulisic scored the other day. He's having quite a good impact. He had a spectacular start to the season, tailed off a bit, but now has a chance to really push on. So they're a bit like Manchester United. Milan fans have been expecting change at the top in terms of the manager for quite some time, but quietly Milan have been going about their business and getting results, and they find themselves in second place. They'll be delighted with that because that represents progress over last season, but they won't be happy with that big old gap, 16 points gap between themselves and Inter Milan. They would like to see that narrowed a little bit, but fair play to Pioli for having the resilience to stay in his job and even get his Milan team towards the top of the league, as Fikayo Tomori, of all people, almost putting away a free kick to give Milan an early goal. But no goals as yet in this game, still 0-0 between Verona and Milan.
Thank you very much, Andrew Buonacore. Superb stuff. We're getting updates from Andrew throughout the next 90 minutes or so, because AC Milan are in town. I'm hoping for Stefano Pioli, his slightly experimental lineup doesn't backfire too much. At the end of January, I think he pulled off implemented similar changes. I think it was at home. Was it at home to Bologna, or it might have even been at home to or away at Udinese? But his side struggled kind of on both occasions there. In fact, I think it might have been even in December at Salernitana. Salernitana went down to 10 men, and the result in the end was 2-2. But that's the kind of form that AC Milan will be looking to reverse if they are indeed particularly if Stefano Pioli is to hold on to his job. News from Ligue 1 this afternoon. 2 Ivory Coast internationals have scored in their games this afternoon. Oumar Diakite, after 3 minutes, he put Reims 1-0 up at home to Metz. Meanwhile, Wilfried Singo scored in the first minute for Lorient. They are away at Monaco. We would be remiss not to mention, we're in the conversation we were just having a couple of moments ago about AC Milan's progression in the Europa League. Midweek, they ran out, I think it was 7-3 aggregate victors over Slavia Prague. On Thursday night, having won the first leg 4-2, they won the second leg 3-1. Slavia Prague went down to 10 men on both occasions. And of course, if we're talking Europa League, we absolutely cannot forget to talk about West Ham United, because how good were they midweek? Enough of that, because there's been a goal at Stamford Bridge.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
I'll keep heaping praise on West Ham's performance midweek in just a moment, but this is what happens when you put yourselves on the back foot like Chelsea did a few moments ago. They went 2-1. They were 2-0 up, went 2-1, completely against the run of play, and Leicester have now dragged themselves level. It's 2-2 at Stamford Bridge. Johnny Holmes is there and has the latest.
Well, Chelsea gave away a terrible first goal to Leicester through some disaster. But here we've got some Mavididi magic. It's brilliant by the number 10 from Leicester. Stands his man up, little step over, turns inside and curls a cracking effort into the top left-hand corner. And there's absolutely nothing that Robert Sanchez can do to prevent Leicester City from levelling up at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2, Mavididi. And it's 62 minutes played.
Thank you very much indeed, Johnny Holmes. 2-2 between Chelsea and Leicester City. One shot on target for the away side. Their first goal courtesy of Axel Disasi. A disaster for him, as Johnny Holmes rightly says. And now Leicester City, the door has been opened for them. Can they do what looked completely unthinkable a few moments ago, and can they snatch a victory in the quarter-final of the FA Cup? That is, of course, the magic of the FA Cup, how quickly a game and how quickly the stakes can swing in a contest like that. Latest score in the FA Cup quarter-final at Stamford Bridge: Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. In the Premier League, it's West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0. As I mentioned a few moments ago, West Ham fresh off the back of that wonderful performance midweek where they romped Freiburg by 5-0. Two extraordinary goals, it should be said, by Mohamed Kudus, the Ghanaian winger. Absolutely extraordinary, particularly his first one. He picked the ball up deep in his own half, took it past, I think, 4 or 5 different Freiburg players before slotting past the goalkeeper, and then he got another one from 20 or 25 yards or so. David Moyes will have been absolutely delighted with that result, of course, and let's have a little listen to what David Moyes had to say about West Ham's Europa League progression.
Hugely pleased with the goals and the level of the performance and how well the players done tonight. You know, we were really unhappy from the first game, as all the staff, the players. We thought we shouldn't have come out with the result we had, and we had to live with that and try and put it right, and thankfully tonight we did. I think for West Ham Football Club to have 3 years in a row in quarter-finals of a European competition, I don't know if anybody said if it's been done before. I'm not sure in the club's history if it has been, but for where we've come from a team that was avoiding relegation, first of all to actually make Europe and then do it a second year, then to win a trophy, and for us to be in another quarter-final is a brilliant achievement.
David Moyes there heaping praise on his West Ham side for their performance in European competition, in particular in recent years. It does seem absolutely extraordinary, doesn't it, that his job appears to be in doubt at the moment. West Ham's first ever European silverware, their first silverware of any kind for, I think, half a century it was, when they, of course, won the UEFA Conference League at the end of last season. They're currently the 7th in the Premier League at the moment, which of course would mean if they finish there come season's end, they'll qualify for the Conference League again, and they are in the quarter-final of this year's Europa League. So David Moyes perhaps can't be blamed there really for just taking a little moment to just heap a bit of praise on his side and their recent successes, particularly in European competition. Nonetheless, that's probably enough about David Moyes and West Ham for now, until we've got updates from the game between West Ham and Aston Villa from the London Stadium to bring you courtesy of Richard Bond. He's there for us this afternoon. But before we cross to Richard and have a catch-up from Stamford Bridge, let's have a chat to Andrew Bonacore, because Andrew, there's been an early yellow card for Verona.
Yeah, it's Milan well on top here. Tomori almost connected with a clever free kick on 4 minutes, and it's been all Milan since then. But a couple of minutes ago, Theo Hernandez storming through the Verona half, scythed down by Serdar. He thought he got the ball, was complaining to the referee, a real Verona Mona, but he was booked on 6 minutes. Hernandez was down for a good couple of minutes getting treatment, and such is the kind of athleticism that he likes to display. You just wonder whether he might have to rein it in. But Milan well on top, but still Verona 0, Milan 0.
Thanks very much indeed, Andrew. It sounds like Chelsea are desperately trying to earn themselves a victory in normal time here at Stamford Bridge. Johnny Holmes, what's the latest there? A couple of opportunities for the home side.
Yeah, how this game has changed. This is the magic of the FA Cup in full flow. Chelsea were under no pressure. They were on complete top, in complete control, bossing the ball around, all the possession. Then that crazy own goal by Disasi, and suddenly Leicester are level and right up for it. And Chelsea have realised we've got to wake up now. We're in danger here, and it is Chelsea who have been coming forward. Cole Palmer curled a shot over the bar from the edge of the box, and then it was a heroic block by Yannick Vestergaard, the Leicester City defender, from Raheem Sterling. It deflected towards Mudryk, who fired over from the volley. Chelsea turning the screw, but they've let this one slip. It's Chelsea 2, Leicester 2 after 67 minutes.
Thanks very much indeed, Johnny. In the quarterfinal of the FA Cup at Stamford Bridge, it's Chelsea 2, Leicester 2. Meanwhile, we are bringing you updates from the Premier League game between West Ham and Aston Villa at the London Stadium. Richard Bond is there. And Richard, you have news of an opportunity there for the home side.
We've had one for either now. It's 30 minutes to the clock. It's a bit of a slow start, really, but West Ham had the first chance of the game. It was a corner, came in from the left-hand side, won by Paqueta. He's just out-jumped his mark, but didn't quite get his head on the ball. It's gone flying over the bar. Villa gone up the other end, and it's the first time we've seen top scorer Watkins this afternoon. Leon Bailey finding him down in the middle of the channel. He tries to take a touch early, shoots away, but there's a lovely low save by Areola just to push it around the post. Good game so far now, just hotting up. It's West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0. Both sides just starting to find their stride at the London Stadium, although it does remain goalless. 15 minutes played, approaching 15 minutes played between Verona and AC Milan. We'll be bringing you updates very soon, in 15 minutes or so, on Freiburg against Bayer Leverkusen. And we will, of course, be bringing you Leeds against Millwall in 45 minutes. And then in an hour's time, we've got Jack Hessen bringing you updates from Villarreal against Valencia. And then at 4:30, Manchester United against Liverpool in the big one in the FA Cup. This is Football Live.
You are listening to Football Live. Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
Next weekend is an international break.
Oh yeah!
Football Live will be back in 2 weeks' time.
1, 2, 3, run it!
Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
And it's time to get straight into the action.
When you hear that noise, you know there's been a goal.
With the best reporters in the business.
What an afternoon of football. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've got even more coming up for you.
With the best unrivaled football coverage on the air.
Football Live really is the place to be this afternoon.
If you're betting on sports this week, why not make your money go further? Sign up to NairaBet for 11 days of risk-free betting. If your bet loses, you will get your stake back as a free bet up to 2,000 Naira. All you need to do is register a new account with NairaBet today and qualify to get up to 22,000 Naira in free bets. Visit www.nairabet.com/bonus for more information. General and free bet terms apply. Must be over 18. Must be KYC approved. Must place a qualifying bet. Bets must include football, tennis or basketball markets. Please gamble responsibly.
Football Live. Football's never sounded so good on Brila FM every Saturday and Sunday.
The goals, the team news, all the updates, all the key action, scores from around Europe's top leagues, exclusive interviews, breaking news. This is Football Live. Let's get back to the action on Football Live. Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live. with Alex Guilford.
Yes, it is indeed Football Live, exclusive to Brill FM. I am indeed Alex Guilford. We are bringing you updates from the games in the FA Cup in England, the English Premier League, and of course across the continent. I can reveal that there has been a red card at Stamford Bridge. We will be crossing to Johnny Holmes in just a few moments' time. There was a long and protracted VAR check to assess whether or not Doyle had committed a foul on Jackson worthy of a penalty being awarded. Contact appeared to be outside the penalty area. However, although the referee's decision to only book the Leicester City defender was reversed, and he has been given his marching orders, approaching 75 minutes of normal time played in this one, and we can cross to Johnny Holmes now and get an update on that red card. Johnny.
Oh, the drama just keeps coming here in the second half at Stamford Bridge. It is a red card after a lengthy VAR check. It's Callum Doyle who has been sent off for Leicester. Nicholas Jackson of Chelsea is running through on goal. He's one-on-one with the keeper, only the keeper to beat. And from behind, it's a cheeky trip by Doyle, denies the goal-scoring opportunity. The VAR confirmed that it was outside the box, millimetres outside of the box. So no penalty, but a red card given to the Leicester fullback. Leicester in real trouble now. They are still level, but Chelsea with a dangerous free kick on the edge of the box. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2, 73 minutes played.
Thank you very much, Johnny. We'll cross back to Johnny when that free kick has been played out. I've got a monitor up here in the studio, and it is right outside the penalty area, just outside. Very dangerous opportunity for Chelsea. If you are just joining us, welcome to the show. Where have you been? What an afternoon of football it has been here on Football Live, bringing you updates, of course, from that game in the FA Cup between Chelsea and Leicester. We're also at the London Stadium, where Richard Bond has got updates of the game between West Ham and Aston Villa. Andrew Bonacore is in Italy for us because AC Milan are visiting Verona this afternoon. And we have got Gabe Frith joining us in a few minutes' time from the game in the Bundesliga between Freiburg and Bayer Leverkusen. We've got, in fact, let's cross to Johnny Holmes now at Stamford Bridge, because we were going to get an update on what happened in that free kick, but there's also been a substitution, Johnny.
Yeah, Raheem Sterling really should have a hat-trick to go alongside his assist. As it stands, he's on 0 goals. A penalty, of course, early on, which was so poor and easily saved by Stolashik. He was through on goal in the first half, and now he's just had that free kick, which he's blasted about as far over as he can get. Awful free kick by Raheem Sterling into Rosette. A shake of the head by the Chelsea fans, and Cole Palmer was stood over it. I think he'll be taking the next one. A substitution made by Leicester. They've gone defensive, as you would expect, down to 10 men. James Justin comes on for the unlucky goal scorer Mavididi. What a goal that was, but he has to make way for a defensive change. Can Leicester hold on? Chelsea 2, Leicester 2, 75 minutes played.
Thank you very much indeed, Johnny. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce to you a new member of the Football Live squad here. Our superb team of reporters has been bolstered by the recent addition of Gabe Frith, and Gabe is going to be bringing us updates from the Bundesliga this afternoon, because there's an important game between them. I mean, we've mentioned them several times in the show already this afternoon. Freiburg, who were absolutely pasted by West Ham at the London Stadium on Thursday night. They are hosting table toppers Bayer Leverkusen. Xabi Alonso's remarkable Bayer Leverkusen sides. 21 league victories out of 25 games, only 4 draws in that time and no defeats. They've got an opportunity to go 10 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga this afternoon, and Gabe Frith is here with the team news for that one. Over to you, Gabe.
Thank you, Alex, and it's a pleasure to be here. So we're at the Europa Park Stadion today for this showdown between Freiburg and Bayer Leverkusen. For the home side, only one change following that 5-0 thumping at the London Stadium midweek. It is Merlin Rula who comes in for the suspended Max Egerstein. 6 changes for the away side. It's Hradecki replacing Kovar between the sticks. Stanisic and Tar coming in to the defensive line, with Palacios, Hlozek and Schick also coming in to the side as well. Bayern will be looking to regain their 10-point advantage on title rivals Bayern Munich, and Freiburg will be hoping to kickstart some good form after only winning 1 in their last 7 matches. This game will approximately kick off in 7 minutes. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you very much indeed, Gabe. Looking forward to that game over in Germany between Freiburg and Bayer Leverkusen, 9th against 1st in the Bundesliga. We need, I think, next to have a cross over to Richard Bond, because Richard has news of another opportunity that's gone the way of the home side at the London Stadium. Tell us more, Richard.
Yeah, midway through this first half, it's still West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0, but really close for West Ham. Koufal and Bowen combining on that right-hand side. It was Bowen whose ball came to the edge of the area, found Lucas Paqueta, the Brazilian's taking a touch, and he's driven a shot just wide of the left-hand post via a slight deflection off Thomas Souček. I think that was going in if it hadn't touched him, but as it stands, it's West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0.
Lovely stuff. Thanks, Richard. And we're going to Verona and have a catch up with Andrew Buonocore, because Andrew, one of my favourite players in that AC Milan side, certainly at the beginning of the season when he was in slightly more sort of pertinent goal-scoring form, I think it's fair to say, was a much maligned figure at Chelsea who did divide opinion, but Christian Pulisic has gone very close for the away side AC Milan.
Oh, it was so close to an absolute stunner. Pulisic cut in from the right-hand side and smashed a rising shot that hit it cannoned off the underside of the bar. Didn't quite go over the line. It bounced in and around the penalty spot and went miles away from goal. It was such a powerful shot. Would have been an absolutely great goal if that had just smashed in off the underside of the bar. It's a very entertaining game here. Okafor with an absolutely brilliant shot from a Milan corner, and it was very, very well saved by the Verona keeper Montipo, who's I think is going to be busy today. Almost rugby tactics so far from Milan, if that makes any sense. They've got some very pacey players coming up from midfield and from the back, and they're picking up possession in midfield and trying to burst through that Verona wall. But I think the Verona team are going to pick up a few bookings this afternoon, because they are having to bring players down in order to stop them bursting through their defensive line. So we've now just gone past halfway, 24 minutes gone, and it's still Verona 0, Milan 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Andrew. In the Belgian Pro League this afternoon, Senegalese striker Aboubakary Koita has scored in the 85th minute to give Sint-Truiden the lead in the Belgian Pro League, their Belgian Pro League game against Club Bruges. Meanwhile, we've got news of a substitution at Stamford Bridge from Johnny Holmes.
The stage is set here for a grandstand finish at Stamford Bridge, and the tide of the match, it's pretty much certain for the rest of the game, because Chelsea are going to be on the attack. They have 11 players to Leicester's 10, and Leicester have made defensive substitutions here. Nigerian Wilfred Ndidi brought off for Conor Cody. James Justin was also brought on a couple of minutes ago. They're trying to shore up the defence, absorb and soak up the pressure from Chelsea, and try and hit them on the break. It's going to be fascinating. Last 10 minutes. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2, 81 minutes played.
Thanks very much indeed, John. Just to bring you the latest scores in our feature game between Chelsea and Leicester City. Just Johnny Holmes was just telling us it's Chelsea 2, Leicester City 2. In La Liga, Sevilla 1, Celta Vigo 0 is the latest score at half-time. In the Eredivisie, it's Heerenveen 1, Feyenoord 1, and Utrecht 0. Nijmegen 0 in Ligue 1. It's Monaco 1, Lorient 1, Stade Reims 1, Metz 1, Clermont 1, Le Havre 0. In Serie A, Andrew Bonacore has been bringing us updates from the game between Verona and Milan. That game is still 0-0. In the Turkish Super League, it's Kasimpasa 2, Galatasaray 2, and Hayataspor 1, Samsunspor, 0. Meanwhile, let's cross over to Ed Dowling. Let's have a catch up with Ed Dowling because Ed is at Old Trafford this afternoon. He is bringing us all the team news now from the game between Manchester United and Liverpool. An absolutely mouth-watering quarter-final FA Cup contest. This one, Ed, you've got the team news for us.
Yeah, team news just coming in now. We're about an hour away from kickoff, so we should have it in the next sort of 1 or 2 minutes. But this feels really, really big, Alex, today. Funnily enough, Erik ten Hag can actually make it 2 out of 2 against Liverpool at home, which despite all the recent records, the 7-0, they've been battered home and away, it seems, Man United against Liverpool down the years. He's actually got a pretty good record. 1 from 1. It was, if you remember last season, he turned it around with a famous sort of 2-0 win, Jadon Sancho scoring. Obviously, he's out on loan now. So this feels really big in the FA Cup. It's United's last chance of silverware as well. Just think there's a twist in the tail here, and I don't think it's going to be an easy Liverpool walkover, which many people are suggesting.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed Dowling, bringing us updates from Old Trafford. Meanwhile, in the Premier League, in the game between Aston Villa and West Ham at the London Stadium, there's been a penalty appeal turned down for Aston Villa, and Richard Bond is there for us and has the latest on that turn of events. Richard.
Yeah, it looked a surefire penalty to me, but Jared hasn't given it, though. It was a barnstorming run from Leon Bailey, who's flying down that right-hand side. He's just jinked in and out, and he's tried to send the ball in. Emerson's kind of got his arm up in there, so I think that should have been given, but it hasn't. The other end, then, Villa have come close as well. West Ham came close as well with Bowen finding Kufal, but it was saved. But it's still 0-0 here. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard Bond. He's at the London Stadium for us this afternoon. In fact, I can announce there has been a goal at the London Stadium.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, if I had £5 for every time a reporter handed back to me and a goal seems to fly in the second that they hand back over to me here in the studio, I would be a wealthy man. Let me tell you, it's kickoff, by the way. They've got underway in the Bundesliga between Freiburg and Bayer Leverkusen. That game has just kicked off. But at the London Stadium, I can reveal that West Ham, the home side, have gone 1-0 up. They are currently lead Aston Villa by a single goal to 0. Updates coming coming our way, courtesy of Richard Bond in just a few moments' time when he is ready to report on that one. Meanwhile, let's cross over to Andrew Buonacore. In fact, no, before we go to Andrew, let's stick with the Premier League. Let's stick with that game at the London Stadium and have a catch up with Richard Bond, because Richard, the home side, are a 0-0 up, as I just explained.
Yeah, they came close moments ago, and Kufal, who's come close, but this time it's Kufal who's the supplier. He sends the ball in from the right-hand side. He's found big Mikel Antonio, scorer of so many important goals for West Ham. Flies a header into the back of the net. West Ham ahead, yeah. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 0, half an hour gone.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. In fact, I can announce that there has been a goal in Germany.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And perhaps unsurprisingly, Xabi Alonso's high-flying Bayer Leverkusen side, inside 2 minutes away at Freiburg, finds themselves a 0-0 up. And Gabe Frith, who is at that game for us, has all the latest on that goal. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, well, it didn't take long for Xabi Alonso's men to take the lead here. It's Florian Wirtz, Bayer Leverkusen's top goal contributor this season. He has the ball on the left-hand side of the box, cuts in and curls it into the far post. with his right foot. With 2 minutes gone here, it is Freiburg 0, Bayer Leverkusen 1.
Lovely stuff. Gabe, Bayer Leverkusen 1-0 up away at Freiburg. We had a quick, brief chat with Ed Dowling at Old Trafford a few moments ago, but it's got the full team news for us. Now we've got the full starting 11s for you. So, Ed, let's get the latest update from you, please.
Yes, we'll start with the home side, Manchester United. They've gone for a very, very strong team here. It's Onana in goal, Lindelof, Varane, Dalot, and Wan-Bissaka make up the back four, with Mainu and McTominay sitting deep, I imagine, in that position there, with Bruno Fernandes in the 8th position. He's the captain today. And then it's Marcus Rashford, Rasmus Højlund, and Alejandro Garnacho as that front three. A strong, strong team for the home side. And as for Liverpool, they've gone for Kiva Kelleher in goal, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, and Kwanzaa make up the back four there, with McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Endo making up that midfield three. And there's a start there for Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz, and Darwin Núñez. So both teams going as strong as they possibly can. Mason Mount actually makes the bench for Manchester United. A long, long awaited return for him. Should be an absolute cracker here, Alex. We're about an hour away or so from kickoff.
Lovely stuff. Really, really, really looking forward to that one at Old Trafford this afternoon. The big game in the quarter-final of the FA Cup between Liverpool and Manchester United. Let's cross to Johnny Holmes, who's at Stamford Bridge for us, because, John, there's been a couple of changes of personnel for the home side.
Yeah, a couple of changes made by Mauricio Pochettino. Has he deduced that we could be going the distance here at Stamford Bridge at half-time? You'd certainly not expect that to happen. Madueke's been brought on for Raheem Sterling, who really should have taken at least one of the many opportunities he had here at Stamford Bridge. And Chukwuemeka has been brought on for Mudryk, who showed nice signs, nice touches in his number 10 role. A big save has just been made by Jakub Stolarczyk, who I think's had a cracking game in the Leicester City goal. It's diverted goalwards by Chelsea's, I think it was Chukwuemeka actually. No, it was Noni Madueke, his first touch just being brought on. Madueke diverts the ball goalwards. It's a smart stop at point blank range by Jakub Stolarczyk. Chelsea 2, Leicester 2, 89 minutes played.
Thank you very much indeed, Johnny Holmes. Dying embers of the game at Stamford Bridge, nearly coming up to the full 90 minutes played. Chelsea 2, Leicester City 2. Leicester down to 10 men, and Chelsea missed a penalty. I mean, they just cannot seem to catch a break. I heard a little rumour, courtesy of producer Barry Swain, that Chelsea fans at Stamford Bridge are booing their own players. I suppose you can't really blame them. We will be handing back to FJ as soon as the final whistle is blown there at Stamford Bridge. But if you are calling in and you're a Chelsea fan, let us know what you make, not just of your side's performance this afternoon, but of the prospect of your own fans booing you. In fact, Johnny Holmes, we're going to cross straight back to you, because there has been a glaring opportunity for Jackson, Nicholas Jackson, and he's put it over the crossbar, Johnny.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge opportunity for Chelsea to steal the win at the dying embers of the match. It's Nicholas Jackson, as you say. He's just outside the 6-yard box. He gathers the ball from the cross in. He looks like he set himself perfectly, but he's leaning back as he takes the shot, and he just cushions the ball over the bar when he really should be doing better from that position. He just couldn't sort his feet out, all out of position, leaning back. Terrible technique. Big chance for Jackson, not taken. Chelsea 2, the 10 men of Leicester 2. 90 minutes played, and we've got 8 minutes of injury time added on at Stamford Bridge.
Thank you very much indeed, Johnny Holmes. Always superb reporting from Johnny. In fact, I cannot believe I'm about to say this. I'm about to say, once again, another reporter has handed back to me, and at that express moment, there has been another goal, and there's been a goal at Stamford Bridge.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And it has gone the way of Chelsea. They have finally made that man advantage count. It's Chelsea 3, Leicester City 2. We were just talking about their own fans booing them, but they finally dragged themselves ahead in this game after, well, they've been their own worst enemies, really. Leicester have only had one shot on target, have 2 goals to their name. It's now 3-2 to Chelsea, 3 minutes into 8 signalled minutes of injury time. Johnny Holmes is at Stamford Bridge for us. Johnny, tell us about the goal.
Yeah, Stamford Bridge erupts as Chukwuemeka puts the ball into the back of the net, and Chelsea, well, they've left it late, they've cut it fine, but they are going to get the victory surely now. It's a lovely link-up between Chukwuemeka and Cole Palmer, a little slide back heel, back to his man from Cole Palmer, the number 20, rides it through to Chukwuemeka, who beats the keeper, curls it over Stolarczyk. It's a brilliant finish. In fact, it's underneath and through the legs of Stolarczyk, and Chukwuemeka makes it Chelsea 3, Leicester 2 after 93 minutes.
Thank you very much indeed, Johnny. So 5 minutes of injury time left to play at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea a goal to the good against the 10 men of Leicester City. Before we hand over to FJ, though, let's get an update from Andrew Buonacore, who is in Verona for us and had news some time ago, it now feels like. Andrew, so much is going on in the FA Cup game between Chelsea and Leicester, but there's news of a yellow card for Fikayo Tomori.
Yes, absolutely. We've got signs of life from Verona. The last 10-15 minutes have been very entertaining. A couple of chances for Verona. Noslin was close on 27, as was Lazovic. He couldn't quite control the ball as he burst into the book. But as you say, yes, Tomori booked on 28 minutes, absolutely wiped out Dutch player Noslin on the not a very dangerous part of the field. The ball was going out for a throw-in. I think he just decided to take some vengeance on the Dutch striker. But your man Pulisic just set up a great chance for Okafor, but he shot wide. We've got a fun game here, Alex. It's still Verona 0, Milan 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Andrew. Superb stuff. Approaching 40 minutes played now in the game between Hellas Verona and AC Milan. Plenty of signs of life from the away sides. Let's bring it back to England, though, and have a quick catch-up with Andrew. In fact, no, before we go to Richard Bond, I've got news of another goal in Germany.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Bayer Leverkusen were 1 goal to the good inside 2 minutes in this game, but with 10 minutes played, it's now 1-1. Freiburg have equalised, and Gabe Frith is there for us and has news of that goal. Gabe.
Yep, just past the 10-minute mark here, and it is Freiburg 1, Leverkusen 1, completely against the run of play. It was Ritsu Duan following a nice 1-2 on the edge of the Leverkusen box. He cuts inside on his left foot, and he slots it home at the near post. But like I said, against the run of play, it has been Bayer Leverkusen who've been dominating possession. They've been going forward. But an equaliser for Freiburg here, just past the 10-minute mark. It is Freiburg 1, Leverkusen 1 in Germany.
Thank you very much indeed, Gabe. Gabe Frith there on his Football Live debut this afternoon. And we've got news of another goal at the London Stadium.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
I say another goal. It's not another goal. It's news of a goal. It has gone the way of West Ham. West Ham currently a 0-0 up at home to Aston Villa. We'll be crossing to Richard Bond for an update on that in a few moments' time. We were going to get an update from Richard about a couple of injuries at West Ham. Michail Antonio went down a few moments ago, but appears to be back on his feet and okay. Lucas Paquetá, however, their talisman, he now appears to be down and injured, so possibly bad news for West Ham fans at the London Stadium, although they do find themselves, the Hammers 1-0 up against Aston Villa. Latest in the FA Cup, dying embers of the game in the FA Cup between Chelsea and Leicester City. It's currently Chelsea 3, Leicester City 2. We've got in Serie A, Verona 0, AC Milan 0, still the latest score there. AC Milan looking to extend away from third place. In fact, I can reveal that the goal at West Ham has been ruled out. It is still, in fact, I should have been telling you earlier, it was West Ham 2, Aston Villa 0. It's not. It's still West Ham 1, Aston Villa 0, the latest score at the London Stadium at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 3, Leicester City 2. In fact, no, it's not, because there's been another goal at Stamford Bridge.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And Chelsea have put themselves 4-2 up at home to Leicester City. They have huffed and they've puffed. They've been their own worst enemies throughout much of this game. A dreadful own goal by Axel Disasi saw a comfortable 2-0 cushion turn to 2-1. And then it was 2-2 pretty swiftly after that. But Chelsea have just dragged themselves level, and they've dragged themselves 3-2 up, and now they're 4-2 up. And Johnny Holmes has the latest. Johnny.
Well, it's a special goal to cap off this absolutely fantastic second half. Chelsea, well, they left it late, but in the end, it's quite comfortable. They've got their fourth goal, and it's Noni Madueke, the substitute, who does absolutely brilliantly. Beats one, beats two, and then curls a stunning finish from quite a way out into the top corner. I'm just seeing a replay. It's Gusto who feeds it into Madueke, who at first doesn't bring it under control, but then he shrugs his man off. He dances away from the Leicester defenders and curls it top corner in the postage stamp between bar and post. Absolutely stunning finish by Noni Madueke, and Chelsea will be marching through to the next round. It's Chelsea 4, Leicester 2 after 98 minutes.
Thank you very much indeed, Johnny. Just to remind you, here on Football Live, Chelsea 4, Leicester City 2 is the latest score. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 0, Verona 0, AC Milan 0, Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 1. It's time to hand back to FJ. In fact, I can announce actually there's been a goal in Italy before we do that.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
It is now 1-0 to AC Milan in Verona, and Andrew Bonacore has the latest for us there. Andrew.
It's a brilliant goal from Theo Hernandez. He ran down his favoured left-hand side, got all the way almost to the corner flag, seemed to be running out of space, and with a few players around him. Twice the ball looked like it had gone out of play. He gets tackled twice. The ball fell to him both times, and the final time it landed just on his left foot, and he just flicked it beautifully past the Verona keeper. Rode his luck a couple of times, but you've got to say that goal has been coming almost from the start of this match, and it's a much-deserved lead for AC Milan. Beautifully taken by Theo Hernandez, almost banged on the stroke of half-time. He shrugs his shoulders as if to say how easy that was, but it was his perseverance more than anything that brought that goal for AC Milan. His goal right on half-time makes it Verona 0, AC Milan 1.
Verona 0, AC Milan 1, the latest in Italy. Then the full-time whistle has finally gone at Stamford Bridge, which means, of course, it is time to hand back to FJ and the wonderful team in Nigeria. We will be back with you in around 25 minutes or so. This is Football Live.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Alex Guilford.
Yes, welcome back to Football Live with me, Alex Guilford. Thank you very much to FJ for manning the ship for the last 25 minutes or so. Thank you for all of your calls. Thank you to all of our wonderful listeners for tuning in. But it's time very quickly to announce there has been a goal at Freiburg.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And it has gone the way of Bayer Leverkusen. So Xabi Alonso's high-flying Bayer Leverkusen side find themselves 2-1 up. They did score inside 2 minutes, and then Freiburg pulled themselves level, but on the stroke of half-time, it's 2-1 to Bayer Leverkusen. In fact, there's also been another goal in Verona.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And AC Milan seeking to solidify their position in second of the table in Serie A behind rivals, bitter City rivals. Inter have doubled their lead against Hellas Verona. Let's go to Gabe Frith first. Gabe, let's have the news on that Bayer Leverkusen second goal.
Yeah, Bayer Leverkusen has taken the lead for the second time this afternoon. It was a counter-attack which was led by Alejandro Grimaldo. His initial shot saved by Noah Atabulu in the Freiburg goal. The follow-up from Patrick Schick was deflected into the path of Hlozek, who slotted it in to give Bayer Leverkusen the lead once again. We're approaching the 44th minute, and it is Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 2.
Thank you very much indeed, Gabe. Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen, if I can get the words out of my mouth. The latest score in Germany. I was going to call them title challengers, AC Milan. They're not really title challengers. They're 16 points off leaders Inter, or at least they were before the start of this game, but they are 2-0 up away at Hellas Verona, and Andrew Bonacore has got the latest there.
Yeah, it's a really good goal for Milan. Just 5 minutes after the break, Coppola was robbed by Okafor, who had had a few chances in the first half. I was just hoping that he wouldn't get too disheartened, but he robbed the Verona centre half about 40 yards from goal. That put him clean through on goal, just slightly to the side of the goal. His shot looked like it would creep in at the far post, but the keeper, Montipol, just got a fingertip to it. And there was Christian Pulisic following in from the right-hand side, did a great job of making sure that he was able to get his shot away, and was presented with an almost empty net to just calmly put the ball away. Pulisic having a really good game this afternoon. Have to say, across the board, Milan looked like a very, very polished outfit. 6 minutes into the second half, and it's already Verona 0, Milan 2.
Thank you very much indeed, Andrew. Superb stuff, hearing that Christian Pulisic has got AC Milan's second goal of the game. We thought, dear listener, while we had transferred back to FJ for that brief riposte for us all to get a cup of tea, and I had a quick energy drink as well as a cup of tea, slightly unusual mix of refreshments. But we thought at that point in time that West Ham had got a second goal at home to Aston Villa, but it was ruled out by VAR, and Richard Bond is at the London Stadium. Richard, what happened with that disallowed goal?
Well, West Ham thought they were two ahead, and Aston Villa had been given a reprieve, and it was not so majestic from Martinez, who flapped it across from a corner. He's missed it completely, and it's come to Antonio, and it was a certain part of his body, I think it's his hand, where he's just kind of managed to tap it into the back of the net within the end, bit disguised, but it's been caught by VAR, so the scores remain the same. But Villa have tried to put in a couple of players on to try and turn things around the second half after being a bit slow. Matty Cash and Diaby have come on for Longley and Duran. So West Ham 1, Aston Villa 0 with 10 minutes into the second half.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Just to remind you, we are bringing you live updates from West Ham against Aston Villa in the Premier League, Verona against AC Milan in Serie A, Freiburg against Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. And it has kicked off 15 minutes or so ago between Leeds and Millwall. In fact, it's just kicked off in our other game from across the continent. This that we bring you live updates from. That is between Villarreal and Valencia. We'll be getting an update from Jack Hesson in a few moments' time. But before we do any of that, we've got to get the latest from Duka Dobma, who is at the championship game that I mentioned a few moments ago between Leeds United and Millwall. Third plays 16th in the championship. Duka, what is the team news there at Ellen Road?
Well, both sides are actually on incredible form. Leeds are just formidable at home. They've not lost a home game in the league all season. And as you can imagine, they stay unchanged today from their win at Hillsborough last week. Millwall just make the one change today. Duncan Watmore makes way as Brooke Norton-Cuffy comes in to play on the wing. But in the opening stage of this game, as you can imagine, it's all been Leeds as they look to go into the international break top of the championship table.
I don't think Mill will have registered for the shot here. But still at Ellen Road, 15 minutes played, 0-0.
Thank you very much indeed, Duca. It's just the halftime whistle has just been blown in Freiburg. So before we get Johnny Holmes's full-time report on the FA Cup fixture that ebbed and flowed and swung this way and then that way between Chelsea and Leicester City, let's get Gabe Frith's halftime report from Freiburg. Hi, Gabe.
Yes, at the break, it is Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 2. After a fiery start, which saw the two sides exchange goals in the opening 10 minutes, the game sort of fizzled out before Bayer Leverkusen took the lead once again. There was a big chance just before the break where Manuel Gulde was caught in possession by Ezequiel Palacios. However, the Leverkusen midfielder couldn't get the ball past the Noah Atubola in the Freiburg goal. So heading into the break, it is Freiburg 1, Leverkusen, the league leaders, 2.
Thank you very much indeed, Gabe Frith. Superb work on his Football Live debut this afternoon. He will be bringing us updates in around 15 minutes or so from the second half of that game between Freiburg and Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. We've just had an update from Duca Dobmer for our game in the Championship between Leeds United and Millwall, and it's just kicked off, as I mentioned, in the game in La Liga between Villarreal and Valencia, and the wonderful Jack Hesson is there for us with the team news. Over to you, Jack.
Yeah, very good afternoon to you, and it is Derby Day in Villarreal for the Derby de la Comunitat, and it is a fever pitch atmosphere at the Stadio de la Ceramica for Villarreal versus Valencia. As for Villarreal, they're 12th in the league, just 5 points behind 8th place Valencia. Today, with having played one game more, they make 4 changes from their 3-2 away win at Real Betis in their last league fixture. Cuenca replacing suspended Moreno. Mosquera is in for Baye. Francis Coquelin replaces Danny Perejo in the midfield, and Goncalo Guedes replaces Gerard Moreno up front. As for Valencia, pushing for those European places, they make 1 change from the 1-0 win over Getafe, with Diogo Lopez replacing Fran Perez in the midfield. Villarreal are looking to shake off their Europa League exit in the midweek, and winning the derby would be a perfect way to do it, and it is a great atmosphere here. Game just kicked off 4 minutes in. It's Villarreal 0, Valencia 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Jack. It was a topsy-turvy FA Cup quarter-final contest at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Leicester City earlier. Johnny Holmes has had to get the train home from southwest London, but before he ran off, he sent us this dispatch from the press box there. Let's hear Johnny's full-time report now.
From the bizarre to the sublime, at Stamford Bridge as Chelsea edged past Leicester with 2 stoppage time goals. What a second half it was. Chelsea appeared to be cruising at 2-0 up before Axel Disasi played a disastrous back pass over his own goalkeeper Robert Sanchez and into the back of his own goal. That made it 2-1, and Leicester were level shortly after. Magic from Mavadidi, a curling finish to level things up, but Chelsea eventually eased away after Leicester were reduced to 10 men. Doyle sent off for the away side, and Chelsea got those 2 goals. Chukwuemeka and Madueke making it 4-2 in the end to Chelsea, who march on in the FA Cup into the semi-finals.
Superb full-time report there from Johnny Holmes. I think the words, the name Disasi and the word disaster or disastrous possibly were mentioned back-to-back 15 times or so throughout the course of that game, but it was absolutely catastrophic stuff from Axel Disasi, who we heard from a little bit earlier in the show. It was his birthday on Monday night, of course, when Chelsea overcame Newcastle United 3-2 at Stamford Bridge. Meanwhile, this afternoon in Europe, in the game between game for Monaco, they were 1-0 down. Excuse me. Can't get these words out of me at all. Something was slightly fuzzy in that energy drink that I think I drank while you guys were calling into FJ while we were putting our feet up a few minutes ago, because since then I have not been able to get a word out edgeways. Let's give this one another go. Lorient were 1-0 up at Monaco earlier this afternoon, but Monaco have turned it around. Youssouf Fofana has scored to make it 2-1 to Monaco. Now that's the latest score in Ligue 1. Let's cross to Jack Hessen, who is in Villarreal in sunny Spain for us, because there's been a chance there for the away side, Jack.
Yeah, first sniff at goal when it goes to Valencia. It was Francis Coquelin in the midfield for Villarreal, completely dispossessed, and it opened up the play for Valencia. Alex Buena playing an easy pass into Goncalo Guedes. He tried to go from a tight angle for the shot. Well saved, to be fair, from the goalkeeper for Villarreal. It was then flagged as offside, but looking on the replay, it would have been tight, so it was a good chance squandered by Valencia. Early stages here, 7 minutes in, it's still Villarreal 0, Valencia 0.
Thanks very much, Jack. From Spain to Italy, where Andrew Buonocore is at the game between Verona and AC Milan. For us, there's been a decent chance for the home side to half the deficit there, Andrew. Tell us more.
Absolutely. It would have been a beautiful goal. Centonze's gorgeous cross on the overlap down the right wing for Verona was flighted over where Noslin outjumped the entire Milan defence, but he couldn't keep his header down. It was a shame because the header really, well, the cross deserved a lot better than Noslin was able to produce. It's still 2-0 to Milan, but Verona definitely not rolling over and taking more punishment. They're trying to get back in this game. A couple of substitutions for them, and they've been keeping Mike Maignan quite busy in the Milan goal in the last couple of minutes. Not quite the quality probably needed up front to really trouble the France goalkeeper. But Verona 2-0 down, but not really out of it just yet. But Milan well in control. It's still Verona 0, Milan 2.
Thank you very much indeed, Andrew. Just to remind you that from 4:30 we are bringing you updates from Old Trafford, where Manchester United host Liverpool. Edward Dowling will be at that one for us. I've just been told that proceedings are really heating up in the tunnel pre-match at Old Trafford. We're used to seeing, heated pre-match battles in the tunnel between arch rivals in the Premier League. Who can forget that? That tussle between Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira. Patrick Vieira at Highbury those years ago. There was the pizza incident involving Cesc Fabregas and Sir Alex Ferguson, of course. It's not that kind of action going on in the tunnel pre-game, though, unfortunately, this afternoon. But one of the mascots has got a little bit upset in the Old Trafford tunnel and is in absolute floods of tears. Maybe he's just found out that he's about to watch Manchester United play football. I can say that, by the way, as a Manchester United fan, by the way. I'm allowed to talk so ill of my own club. They're in rotten form at the moment, but the good news for them, of course, is that Rasmus Højlund is back for his side. They've really missed him in recent weeks, and I'm told, Barry has informed me that thankfully the mascot has stopped crying now, so we can all relax and enjoy what is going to be a superb game in the FA Cup quarter-final contest between Manchester United and Liverpool at Old Trafford. That gets underway in about 15 minutes or so. Meanwhile, keeping in England. In fact, before we do any of the updates from England, there has been a goal in Verona.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
We were mentioning a few moments ago that Verona had missed a superb chance to half the deficit. AC Milan were 2-0 up. Verona almost pulled one back. They have finally pulled one back. Nearly 65 minutes played nearly 65 minutes played in Verona. Andrew Buonocore is there. Andrew, some signs of life for Verona and some hope that they might get something from this game.
Absolutely. And what a goal from Verona. The two protagonists from my last report, Centonze with another beautiful cross over from the right-hand side. That was headed clear by the Milan defence. It fell to, it was Pulisic actually, was trying to control it about 10 yards outside his own penalty box. Noslin robbed him of the ball. He spent a couple of seconds just trying to juggle the ball and keep it under control, but then the ball hit the deck and he hit a beautiful, sweet half volley. Absolutely smashed it on the rise past Maignan in the Milan goal. So we've got a very, very entertaining remaining 25 minutes here. Pulisic, I'm sure it's not punishment for his mistake leading to that goal, but looks like he's been subbed off along with Loftus-Cheek. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting end to the game. Giroud has now come on for Milan, probably to try and calm things down and keep hold of the ball a bit more than Okafor has been able to do. But now an absolutely stunning strike gets Verona back in the game, and it's now Verona 1, Milan 2.
Thank you very much indeed. Andrew, you mentioned Christian Pulisic being substituted off in that game. He's got pretty sure this week the US men's national team, they've got their Nations League semi-final against Jamaica on Wednesday or Thursday night, and then they're either playing therefore the third place playoff or the final of the North American Nations League on Sunday. They'll likely face Mexico, I believe, the US men's national team, because it's Mexico against Panama in the other semi-final of the North American Nations League. So possibly just a bit of workload management there for Christian Pulisic. He's had his injury problems in the past, hasn't he? But nonetheless, here in England, we are bringing you updates, of course, in a few minutes' time from Old Trafford, where Manchester United are hosting Liverpool in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. In the Premier League, West Ham are still 1-0 up at home to West Ham, 1-0 up at home to Aston Villa. So we're going to cross to Richard Bond, who has news of a couple of substitutions for us. And I did enjoy I mentioned our communication channels here at Football Live. Richard said he assumes that the mascot at Old Trafford was crying because he couldn't listen to our delightful tones on Football Live this afternoon. He had to watch Manchester United play football instead. Reason for anyone to cry, Richard. It will bring even the strongest of us, the hardest of us, to tears. But nonetheless, you've got some updates of some substitutions at the London Stadium.
Yeah, everyone wants to listen to Football Live, of course they do. But yeah, a few subs for Aston Villa, who looking to try and get back into this match, been better side in the last 10-15 minutes. So they brought on Matty Cash and Cash Lloyd come on. Lucas Digne and Nicolas Danilo have come on to try and liven things up. West Ham responded really by bringing on Ben Johnson, Mikel Antonio, trying to tighten things up at the back. Jared Bowen's gone a bit more forward. So it's not really been loads of chances. We are feeling a bit of a game of chess going on here. Villa trying to get that goal, but West Ham still looking good, trying to hold for the win here. West Ham 1, Villa 0 with 20 minutes to go.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Let's cross back to Italy. We were just having the latest from Andrew Bonacore about Verona's halving of the deficit. Currently 2-1. They trail to AC Milan at home. We mentioned that Christian Pulisic was hauled off after that goal. And Andrew, there's been a pretty interesting reaction from the Milan winger.
Yeah, just frustration, really. It was an interesting last couple of minutes for Pulisic, even though he's no longer on the field of play. As I said, his last interaction with the ball was to give the ball away to Noslin, who sweetly struck the ball past Maignan to make it 2-1 to Milan. He was immediately substituted. He was just really, really frustrated with his last involvement in the game. And as he walked past Pioli, no problem there. I don't think Pioli necessarily too angry with him for giving away the goal, but as he went down into the dugout, just started punching away at the roof of the dugout. Not in any way that would cause him to injure himself, although with Pulisic, you never know. He doesn't have to do a great deal to miss matches, but yeah, he just seems really frustrated and angry with himself at allowing Verona the chance to get back in the game. But nonetheless, we've got 20 minutes left, and I think we've got an entertaining end to this game coming up. So it's still Verona 1, Milan 2 with 20 minutes to go.
Thank you very much indeed, Andrew. Enjoyed that enormously. It is slightly unfortunate that someone like Christian Pulisic, who's had a few injury worries in the past, he makes himself a bit of an easy target when he sort of punches the roof of the dugout like that. Let's head to Jack Hessen in Spain. Kickoff, by the way, has just been taken at Old Trafford. So Manchester United against Liverpool is underway. But Jack Hessen has news of a couple of opportunities for Villarreal in Spain. Jack.
Oh, heroics from Dashvali and goals for Valencia. What it was a free kick whipped in towards the back post to Bertrand Traore. He got a header across the face of goal. It almost hit Alex Bueno, but he threw himself at the ball. Dashvali got it away. Valencia couldn't clear the ball. It fell back to Alex Bueno. He had a shot across the face of goal to the top left-hand corner. Another great save. The rebound fell again, this time to Francis Coughlin. His shot straight at Dashvali. Another great save, and then another rebound fell to Santi Camanesiana. And again forced Dashvali into a fourth save in only about a minute, in the space of a minute. So incredible goalkeeping there, keeps Valencia in this game. 60 minutes played, it's still Villarreal 0, Valencia 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Jack. Elsewhere in La Liga, by the way, an interesting scoreline here. Las Palmas are hosting Almeria. Almeria have played 29 games this season. They've lost 18 and drawn 11, which, if you're any good at maths, you know means that they haven't won a single game in the league this season, but they have taken the lead in the Canary Islands. So they are 1-0 up away at Las Palmas. We'll be bringing you updates on the scoreline there. We haven't got a correspondent at that one, Football Live, but of course we will be bringing you updates as and when we get them from all of our games, indeed, across England and Europe. Those are, of course, West Ham against Aston Villa, the final stages of that game sort of approaching. Verona against AC Milan as well. Bringing you updates from Freiburg against Bayer Leverkusen, Leeds against Millwall, Villarreal against Valencia, where we just spoke to Jack Hesson, and Manchester United against Liverpool. Let's cross to Ed Dowling, who is at Old Trafford for us, because Ed has news of an early chance for Manchester United.
Yeah, bright start for the home side here. It was a lovely little interchange between Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who had got really far forward. He couldn't quite get his shot right, and it was easily saved by Kiva Kelleher. But a really bright start from the home side. There's good atmosphere here. There's a lot more positivity than I thought there was going to be in Old Trafford here today. And I can see them getting a result. But 3 minutes in, it's still 0-0 here at Old Trafford.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed. Updates coming from Old Trafford as and when we get them. Meanwhile, there has finally been a goal at Ellen Road.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Superb timing from Leeds United. We were just about to cross to Duka Dobma, who had news of 4 yellow cards inside the opening half an hour at Ellen Road in the game between Leeds United and Millwall. But now there has been a goal, and it's gone the way of the home side, Duka.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this is a fantastic finish by Willie Nonto. He gets the ball, cuts in on the left-hand side and hits a screamer past the Millwall goalkeeper. And it's fully deserved for Leeds as well. They've been all over Millwall. Couldn't really create too much because of Millwall's sort of very defensive lineup and a defensive style play that they've got since Neil Harris has come in. But Leeds have found the breakthrough, and it's a fantastic finish by Willie Nonto. 33 minutes played here at Ellen Road. Leeds 1, Millwall 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Duka. Leeds 1, Millwall 0, the latest score from Ellen Road. Let's go back to Old Trafford, because we mentioned a few moments ago there was a chance for Aaron Wan-Bissaka to put Manchester United ahead. Perhaps surprisingly, Manchester United started this game on the front foot, Ed. Marcus Rashford's had an opportunity to put his side level as well.
Yeah, really good save from Kiva Kelleher, actually. Marcus Rashford, he gets the ball and he just tries to curl it into the bottom right corner. Really good technique, and it was a really tough save for the Irishman, but he saves it really well. We've just seen Szoboszlai as well have another shot on target, well saved by Onana. Really good start to this game, really open. 5 minutes in, but it's been all United so far. Still 0-0. I think that's going to change soon.
Sorry, Ed, chopping across you there. Who says presenters aren't divas sometimes, eh? We'll just stick with you for a second, mate, because it's always interesting seeing Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho. Both of them seem really a bit like Jadon Sancho, I suppose. Both of them seem to prefer playing out on that left-hand side for Manchester United. But Alejandro Garnacho spent the last few games out on the right wing. I presume that's where he's playing this afternoon as well. How comfortable does he look out on that right-hand flank?
We haven't seen him touch the ball too much. I think Erik ten Hag really trusts him, with his defensive running and everything like that. We haven't seen him get on the ball too much so far, but it looks to be a more natural fit for him with Højlund going through the middle. I think that's really the game plan from Ten Hag so far. And Robertson, has had a bit of a tough time of it, actually. Same with Joe Gomez on the right side. So we'll see how it works out, but it's looking like a good setup so far from Ten Hag.
Lovely stuff. And just finally, how about Kobe Mainoo? Has he has he had an impact on this game yet? There's obviously a huge amount of interest in him and his performances from Manchester United. He's a superb young player with a huge amount of potential, as well as obviously natural ability, which could be a pretty stern test for him this afternoon, I think, against a Liverpool side whose midfield have gelled together really well, despite pretty much all of them being brand new to the club this summer.
Yeah, he's played really well, to be fair. He's been, as you said, a shining star in what's been a faltering team of late. And he's been making some good driving runs through the midfield. I think Endo's struggling to live with him at the moment, with the way he's so calm on the ball and he's so composed when he's moving with it. We'll see how he goes throughout the game. It's going to be a tough test. I think Liverpool have nearly got their starting midfield back together now with McAllister and Endo there in the holding role. So we'll have to see, but it's been a good start so far. Liverpool now eventually growing into this game a bit more. I can see they're pushing up the field and the crowd's quieting down a little bit. The sun is shining though, so we'll see what happens. But I'm expecting there to be goals in this game for sure, Alex.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed. Updates from Ed Dowling at Old Trafford throughout the remaining hour and 50 minutes or so of the show. Of course, the show will not end until we can bring you a full-time result at Old Trafford. So if the game does extend a little bit, as the game at Stamford Bridge did a few minutes ago. When did that game at Stamford Bridge end? About half an hour ago. Maybe more like an hour. So we will, of course, not be jumping ship until that game has had its full-time whistle blow. And in fact, I can bring you news of a goal at the London Stadium.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, West Ham found themselves a 0-0 up in the first half. They've had a goal disallowed. They've had a penalty appeal turned down. And now they find themselves level because Aston Villa have equalised at the London Stadium. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1 is the latest score from East London. We'll be crossing over to Richard Bond in a few moments' time. Before we do that, let's have a catch up with. In fact, let's go to Gabe Frith, who is in Germany for us. In fact, no, I'm going to bring you news of a goal at Old Trafford.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And I'm told it's gone the way of Manchester United. Manchester United are a 0-0 up at home to Liverpool. Fascinating turn of events there this afternoon. I think most of us probably expected this would be Liverpool's day. Jurgen Klopp leaving at the end of the season. Narrative klaxon alert, of course. There have been a few complaints that the narrative pull is so strong with Jurgen Klopp's departure. That decisions are going Liverpool's way when perhaps they shouldn't. It's Scott McTominay, by the way, who has scored the winner, the opening goal at Old Trafford for Manchester United. And there's also been a goal in Verona.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Goodness me, the goals are absolutely flying in. There's also been a goal in Freiburg.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Here I was expecting a nice leisurely catch-up with all my reporters, but the goals are absolutely flying in here on Football Live across England and the rest of Europe as well. Bayer Leverkusen are now 3-1 up in Verona. Verona had just pulled one back after going 2-0 down, but it's now 3-1 to the away side, AC Milan, with 10 minutes of normal time left to play. So you have to say it doesn't look great for Hellas Verona there, does it? Meanwhile, in Germany, Bayer Leverkusen took the lead inside 2 minutes. Freiburg equalized, then Bayer Leverkusen pulled themselves ahead once more, and they have doubled their advantage. So it is now Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 3 in the Bundesliga. We better head to Old Trafford first, I think, and get the latest on Manchester United's opening goal of the game. For Scott McTominay, Ed Dowling has the latest for us there.
Yeah, it's that man on the spot, Scott McTominay. Some great work on the left wing from Alejandro Garnacho. He beats one man, he jinks past another. He tries to curl the ball into the top right corner. Kelleher's there, he makes a save. It goes up in the air, and there's McTominay on the line just to volley it in and send his team 1-0 in front. They've been all over them, to be honest, Manchester United with Liverpool. I knew they're going to perform today, and they're really living up to the title so far. We've just seen Garnacho go close again for the home side. They're all over them currently. It's 1-0, 12 minutes gone, but I expect that to change pretty soon, Alex.
Interesting. Manchester United all over Liverpool currently at Old Trafford. I don't think many people would have seen that coming before kickoff this afternoon, but Manchester United with Rasmus Højlund, of course, that all-important talisman, that all-important point of attack for them, seems to be making the difference so far. Let's go to Germany and have a catch up with Gabe Frith, because Gabe, you've got news of a third goal for Bayer Leverkusen in Freiburg, which looks like the game might be beyond Freiburg's reach now as we approach the hour mark.
Yes, the scores are now Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 3. It was Jeremy Frimpong on the right-hand side. A brilliant ball found Patrick Schick unmarked on the penalty spot, and the deftest of flicks took it past Atuberlu in the Freiburg goal. It hit both posts before rolling across the line. Like you said, it is going to be extremely difficult for Freiburg to get back in this game, because it has been all Bayer Leverkusen in this second half, and they are determined to keep Bayern Munich in their rearview mirror as they retain their 10-point advantage.
Thank you very much indeed there, Gabriel Frith, at the game between Freiburg and Bayer Leverkusen. Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 3, the latest score in Germany. We've also got a goal to bring you, of course. So much is happening here on Football Live that we haven't even crossed to Richard Bond for an update on the goal for Aston Villa a few moments ago. Richard, I'm so sorry. The goals are flying in all over the place, and I completely forgot to get the update on that equaliser from you. Richard Bond, it's all over to you now. Please, 5 minutes left in that game. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1. Tell us about Aston Villa's goal.
All going on Football Live today, and equaliser for Aston Villa, and it's West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1, and it was Diaby and Zanilo, the two substitutes, who combined. The Italian ghosted in between two defenders to finish off the Frenchman's cross into the box, firing into the back net to wild celebrations. Villa look the better of the sides now in the closing stages. Can West Ham hold on, or will they nick a winner? West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1, 5 minutes to play here.
Thank you very much indeed.
You are listening to Football Live, live and exclusive on Brila FM.
Join find a corner where the big boys play.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon everybody.
What an afternoon of football.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could become very, very tasty.
It's been absolutely fantastic.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brilla FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM. Calling all high flyers who fancies a free flight on us. Naira Vegas are making it rain with 1 million, yes, 1 million free flights on Aviator. Claim unlimited flights with no minimum stake. The sky's the limit. Every day it will randomly rain free flights through the chat feature. Simply place your bets on Aviator and watch it rain free flights in the chat. Make sure you board the plane. You wouldn't want to miss out on a maximum multiplier of times 250,000. Full terms and conditions apply. Must click claim in the chat to be rewarded. Free flights for Aviator only. Must be 18+. Please play responsibly. Around the grounds, chasing the goals.
You are listening to Football Live.
Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
A good type of game of football.
Next weekend is an international break.
Oh yeah!
Football Live will be back in 2 weeks' time.
1, 2, 3, run it!
Live and exclusive on Breela FM.
And it's time to get straight into the action
When you hear that noise, you know there's been a goal.
with the best reporters in the business.
What an afternoon of football. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've got even more coming up for you.
With the best unrivaled football coverage on the air.
Football Live really is the place to be this afternoon.
The goals, the team news, all the updates, all the key action, scores from around Europe's top leagues, exclusive interviews, breaking news. This is Football Live. Let's get back to the action on Football Live. Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Alex Guilford.
Yes, Alex Guilford steering the ship here on Football Live this afternoon. If you're just joining us, where have you been? The goals have been absolutely flying in England and across Europe over the last 10 or 15 minutes or so, and we still need to get that all-important update from Verona on AC Milan's third goal of the game. They are in town. Hellas Verona 1, AC Milan 3. What's the latest there, Andrew Bonacore?
Well, we've now had 4 high-quality goals in this game. The last one makes it 3-1 to Milan. As a corner from the right is headed clear, but it falls to Chikwueze, who's just come on. He hits the sweetest of volleys past Montipol from just inside the box. Another beautiful finish, and it might just put this game to bed now. It's Verona 1, Milan 3 with 3 minutes to go.
Thank you very much indeed. Andrew Chikwueze, the Nigerian international, is on for AC Milan. It's just starting to boil over a little bit in the game between Aston Villa and West Ham. We'll get an update there in a few moments' time. 5 minutes of added time we are currently a minute or two into that at Elland Road. But before we get an update on either of those games, let's catch up once more with Gabe Frith, who's done a superb job so far in his Football Live debut this afternoon. There was a chance a few moments ago, Gabe, for Bayer Leverkusen to fully put any doubt that this game was theirs put it to bed, I should say, because they've just missed a chance to go 4-1 up.
Yes, it's still Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 3, but it very easily could have been 4. Jeremy Frimpong again causing havoc down that right wing. He chipped a ball into the box. It found Alejandro Grimaldo at the back post. He brought it down and on the half volley sliced it past the post. That would have been 21 goals and assists for Grimaldo this season. He is the top goal contributor for Leverkusen in the Bundesliga, but it is still Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 3 as we head into the 63rd minute.
Thanks, Gabe. We'll cross back to Richard Bond now, who is at the London Stadium in East London. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1. Tensions just starting to boil over a little bit, Richard, and a couple of yellow cards been handed out by the referee. We're about a minute or so into 7 minutes signalled of added time at the end of the game. Tell us about this building tension.
Yeah, it's certainly boiling over here. We've had 5 yellow cards now in the last 4 minutes, which is unbelievable stuff, really. First of all, it was Zanilo who'd come on. He scored the goal and he went in on Alvarez pretty strong. They both had a bit of a argy-bargy on the floor. Referees put them both in the book. Then we had Luis raking down Kudos, who didn't like what happened there. He sort of elbowed in the back and he's gone up and squared up to him. Both of them gone in the book. And then the centre-half, Konstantinos Mavropanos, has gone in the book now. He's just come in a little bit late there with Villa having a free kick at the edge of the box. I don't know which way this game's going to go, but we've got plenty more action. 6 minutes more stoppage time to go. West Ham 1, Villa 1.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. About 5 minutes of added time left to be played at the end of that game at the London Stadium. Leeds 1, Millwall 0. It is now it's a half-time whistle has been blown at Ellen Road, which means we can cross over to Duca Dobma and just get a full update on goings on in the first half. Duca, a decent, certainly entertaining game of football in that first half. And we were just talking about tension in the West Ham Aston Villa game. A little bit of tension here as well, because there were yellow cards flying around.
Yeah, certainly here at Ellen Road. I mean, this is a fixture that does hold sort of that fiery aspect between the two sides. It's very well known for it. And within the first 15 minutes, it seemed like we had a wrestling match between Jake Cooper and Willie Nonto, both receiving yellow cards for that. And then Zian Fleming left a nasty challenge on Archie Gray not too long after that, and then receiving a yellow card for that. And then Junior Firpo also receiving a yellow for another nasty sort of challenge. But it's Leeds that have made a difference in this game, as expected. The side trying to claim top spot going into the international break. A fantastic finish by Willie Nonto, the Italian winger, finding the top corner from range. And since then, it's been pretty free-flowing for Leeds. They've been the side that have been completely on top. Millwall haven't really had a chance at all to get a foothold in this game. And I think come the second half, Leeds could really run away with this game. But at half-time at Ellen Road, Leeds 1, Millwall 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Duca. Half-time score at Ellen Road, Leeds United 1, Millwall 0. We just heard from Richard Bonds that tensions were starting to build in the at the London Stadium between West Ham and Aston Villa. Slightly unusual development at Old Trafford. Ed Dowling has the latest there. There was some tension building between a couple of players at Old Trafford, Ed, but both players playing for the same team. Tell us more.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games where I think those United players know they absolutely have to win, or it could start looking really bad for them. And it was a really good counter-attack. Scott McTominay on the ball, Rasmus Højlund tearing across the pitch to make the run, and McTominay's pass really is very, very poor. And Højlund, let's just say, wasn't particularly happy with the quality of the ball, and they're screaming at each other, and the tensions are quite high, to be honest, I think, with everyone in this ground. Next goal is very important, but 23 minutes in, it's still Man United 1, Liverpool 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed. Let's stick to England for the time being. We'll be crossing to Spain in just a moment, but let's have another catch up with Richard Bond, because as the dying stages of this game are upon us, Richard, Matty Cash has stopped what looked like a certain goal for Aston Villa, which would surely also at this stage of the game have been the winner with some superb defending. Tell us more.
Yeah, the home side, West Ham, they should have had a game won there. And it was a great bit of play from Mo Kudos, who was flying down on the left-hand side. He's cut back after taking on defender to James Ward-Prowse. He's got leathered the shot. But there comes Matty Cash, been brilliant since he's come on the second half. Thrown everything at the ball to block it and save his team what probably looks like a point here in this game. Since then, we've had Zanilo throwing the ball away. Very bad discipline. He should have been sent off for that. But I think the referee has let him off because he's on the yellow card. What can you say about that? But anyway, West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1, and we've got a couple of minutes of stoppage time still left.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. 95 minutes of 97. 7 minutes of injury time were signalled at the end of that game in the London Stadium. In fact, it's happened again. There's been a goal at the London Stadium.
The goals, powered by NairoBet.
And as soon as Richard Bond handed to me, West Ham have surely scored the winner, having come so close to conceding it a few minutes ago. In fact, no, sorry, West Ham came close to scoring the winner a few moments ago, courtesy of some superb defending by Matty Cash. But they have now, it seems, managed to get a winner. 1 minute of injury time left to play there. West Ham 2, Aston Villa 1 is the latest score at the London Stadium. We will be crossing over to Richard Bond for an update there as soon as he is ready to tell us all about that potentially pivotal goal in that game between West Ham United and Aston Villa. That goal is currently subject to a VAR review, so hold on to your hats. It might not be West Ham 2, Aston Villa 1. We will let you know as soon as we can. Elsewhere, by the way, in Ligue 1, it's currently Reims 2, Metz 1, Monaco 2, Lorient 2, Clermont 2, Le Havre 1. Verona 1, AC Milan 3 is the latest in Serie A. Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 3 is the latest score in the Bundesliga. I think in VAR, they're debating whether the ball has gone over the line. I presume whether the ball's gone out of play, that probably means. In La Liga, it's Villarreal 0, Valencia 0. Las Palmas, we mentioned earlier, mid-table Las Palmas were 1-0 down to Almeria at home. Almeria currently winless in La Liga, but Almeria have doubled their lead and currently lead Las Palmas by 2-0. There's also a handball check, by the way, for that goal at the London Stadium. Meanwhile, just while we're waiting on tenterhooks here for the update from Richard Bond, let's cross to Andrew Bonacore, who is in Verona for us, and the full-time whistle has gone there with the score 3-1 to the away side, Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. A really entertaining match. Finished, as you say, 3-1 to Milan. They had by far the best of the first half and led at half-time, thanks to a great solo goal from Theo Hernandez right on the half-time whistle. They then extended their lead a couple of minutes into the second half when Okafor robbed Coppola to set up Pulisic with an easy finish. Verona did get back in the game with an absolute stunner from Noslin. He dispossessed Pulisic to hammer the ball past Maignan from 20 yards out, but Milan restored their two-goal advantage on 79 when Chukwueze hit a sweet volley past Montipo from a corner. Concerns, though, at the end for Milan as keeper Mike Maignan was limping heavily during the 5 minutes of added time, but they end the day 3 points clear of rivals Juventus in second place. In Verona, it finished Verona 1, Milan 3.
Superb stuff. Andrew Bonacore there reporting from Verona. Always a pleasure having Andrew on the show with us. Thank you very much indeed for your fine work this afternoon. Let's cross to Old Trafford. They're checking for something else apparently at West Ham, but let's have a catch up with Ed Dowling because Rasmus Højlund was absolutely furious with Scott McTominay a few moments ago for making a poor final decision, and he himself, Rasmus Højlund, has found himself flat on his backside after possibly making a wrong decision in the final third himself. Ed.
Yeah, I think he's got to be furious with himself this time. Got to be shouting at himself. It's one of those classic ones where you hate to see it if it happens to your team, but you do like to see it if it happens to the opponent, where his standing leg kicks the ball ever so slightly just before he's meant to swing through his other leg. So he just ends up completely missing the ball and falling over. Pretty hilarious stuff, and he was quite rightly quite angry with himself. But he'll definitely get another chance. Liverpool look quite open, to be honest. The game's quieting down for the time being. But United are in good spirits here. The fans are up in their seats. They're singing. It's loud in here. 29 minutes gone. Still 1-0 to the hosts at Old Trafford.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed. Approaching half an hour played at Old Trafford. It is Manchester United 1, Liverpool 0. Scott McTominay put Manchester United ahead. Elsewhere in the Premier League, we're still waiting on this long, convoluted VAR review at the West Ham, at the London Stadium in the we think West Ham have scored a winner, but we're still waiting on VAR to confirm either way. I think now we can confirm that the goal has been eventually, it feels like 10, 15 minutes have gone by. It's probably only been 2 or 3 in truth, but it's not great for fans, particularly those watching in the stadium. I think finally that goal's been disallowed in the game between West Ham and Aston Villa. It's still 1-1 officially, with, I presume, a minute or so of injury time left to play. Let's cross to Richard Bond, who can hopefully, he's at the stadium, he will hopefully, although I don't think there's any guaranteeing this, hopefully he has a clearer idea of what is going on than I do. Richard, this sounds like it's been absolutely bananas.
Oh, this is the strangest thing I've seen in a while, and to be honest, people have got criticised VAR, but this is unbelievable. And I was watching David Moyes. He's just thrown a bottle and he stormed out at the fourth official, shouting at him. And I don't blame him. Right, I'm going to describe to you really what happened. It was a corner that came in. James Ward-Prowse put a ball in. There's a mass of bodies in the box. They're all trying to get through. The ball kind of comes out to the edge of the area. There's the big Greek centre-half, Mavropanos. He's smashed an effort. It's gone through a load of bodies. I think it's clipped off Jared Bowen. So there's one of the ones they've looked at, is a handball off Bowen. Seemingly then it's gone in, but has it gone over the line because there's two men on the line? So they're trying to see with that. That was another check. And then a third check was looking at a foul on Thomas Souček. Nothing was really conclusive there in that build-up. But they found something. I can't tell you what it is, but goal is disallowed. It's West Ham 1, Villa 1, and we've played a massive 13 minutes of stoppage time.
Goodness me, absolutely extraordinary scenes at the London Stadium, where it is West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1. Apparently, I'm told by the ever-capable Barry Swain, my wonderful producer for the afternoon, that it was handball that ruled that goal out. VAR intervened in not awarding the goal because there was a handball in there. Right. We're meaning to cross to Jack Hesson for some time now. Jack, I'm pleased to say that we can finally come to you for an update in the game between Villarreal and Valencia. Villarreal have squandered possibly the best chance of all to put themselves a 0-0 up because they've missed a penalty. First of all, tell us what the penalty was awarded for.
Yeah, it was Bertrand Traore bearing down on goal, brought down just as he was about to dispatch a shot from Sheikh Osaka, who received a yellow card for that. It was then given as a penalty. Alex Buena was the man who stepped up. He tried to go for the bottom right-hand corner, but it's an excellent save from Mamadashvili in goals for Valencia to deny Buena the opening goal in the game. Valencia have had some excellent opportunities in this game. They've squandered a one-on-one chance by Hugo Doroway, horribly miscalculated a chip to send that one wide, and Jorgensen in goals for Villarreal has also been forced into a couple of great saves as well. So it's been a game for the goalkeepers so far as we are coming into 48 minutes on the clock, 4 minutes at the time. Villarreal 0, Valencia 0.
Superb stuff, Jack Hesson. Thank you very much. We need to get an update from Gabe Frith, because in the game between Freiburg and Leverkusen, it is all going on. No change to the scoreline, which currently reads Freiburg 1 by Leverkusen 3, but news of a couple of chances for the away side as well as a yellow card for the home side. So over to you, Gabe.
Yes, Bayer Leverkusen still retain their 2-goal advantage here in Freiburg. The first chance came from a free kick where Patrick Schick was brought down on the edge of the box by Nicolas Hoffler. That resulting free kick was hit straight into the wall by Alejandro Grimaldo. And the second chance was a beautiful move. It was Jeremy Frimpong involved again on that right-hand side. A 1-2 with Florian Wirtz. A cutback into the box where Patrick Schick fluffed his lines with the shot. It was a skewed effort to deny his chance of doubling his goal tally this afternoon. So the scores are still SC Freiburg 1, Bayer Leverkusen 3.
Lovely stuff, Gabe. The halftime whistle has been blown, by the way, in Spain, in the game that we're bringing you updates from between Villarreal and Valencia. Elsewhere in La Liga, I told you that Almeria had gone 2-0 up at away at Las Palmas. Their second goal has been disallowed by VAR, so it's currently Las Palmas 0, Almeria 1. Here in England, however, Richard Bond has been at the London Stadium. A remarkable topsy-turvy game and a particularly bizarre and frantic end to the game there. Richard has his full-time report for us now. Richard, I mean, your head must be absolutely spinning after that one.
Mind-boggling stuff, but that's football for you. It's West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1. Game of incident, really, between two European chasing sides who really give their all in this one. You know, even though they're both a bit tired from Thursday night, they give an entertaining showing. Mikel Antonio's header given the home side the lead in the first half before Mohamed Kudus had one chalked off just before the break for a foul in the build-up to play. Villa were better in the second half, but West Ham did have chances to go on and win the game. Villa did equalise, and they had an equaliser through substitute Nicolas Zanilo combining with Diaby. Both of them came off the bench to make a big impact. Matty Cash had a good block to stop West Ham before that big incident right at the end of the game, where the Greek centre half had a shot. It just went into the net via a deflection. We found out later, I think it's Jared Bowen. I think the handball's been given against, but harsh on West Ham today, but a point shared here at the London Stadium. It's West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1.
Superb work this afternoon. Richard Bond, always delighted to have him on the show. And I've got news of a goal for you in Germany.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And how about this? They're absolutely flying in, the goals here on Football Live. There's been a goal at Old Trafford now as well.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And it has gone the way of Liverpool. Manchester United 1, Liverpool 1 is the latest there at Old Trafford. Wataru Endo, the Japanese international signed in the summer, has put his side level. The offside flag is up, I think, but who's to say whether VAR is going to intervene here? So we're just going to hold fire on crossing over to Ed Dowling just yet until we've had confirmation that VAR has disallowed that goal. In fact, the goal has fully been ruled out. So let's go to Ed now. Ed, tell us what happened.
Yeah, it was a fabulous phase of play to start off with Manchester United at one end. Scott McTominay really should have put his side 2 goals up, but the shot was saved and Garnacho just couldn't follow in on the rebound. Luis Diaz then goes down the other side of the pitch, forces a great save at the near post from Andre Onana. There's a goal kick and they're passing it out, and the ball just finds its way into Salah's path, and Salah is just about a hair offside or so, and he squares it to Endo, who passes it into the net. He is offside. I've just seen it given now, but it's been a really crazy game, topsy-turvy stuff. Man United should have been punished for their mistake there, but they haven't been. It's 38 minutes gone. It's still 1-0 to Manchester United.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed. As I understand it, the goal in Germany does still stand. So let's cross to Gabe Frith on his Football Live debut. What an entertaining game you have been able to enjoy this afternoon, Gabe. Freiburg were 3-1 down. Leverkusen almost went 4-1 up, but Freiburg have dragged one back. It's now 3-2. Tell us about the latest goal.
Yes, the home side are right back in this game. It's Freiburg 2, Bayer Leverkusen 3. Much like their first, this one came from absolutely nothing. It was a beautiful pass slipped through into the box to Yannick Kittel. His first shot was saved at point blank by Fredecki in the Leverkusen goal, but the follow-up was too powerful and too accurate to be kept out. I'd say the shooting for Freiburg today has been infrequent but very efficient, as that is 2 goals from 3 shots on target. So we're approaching the 83rd minute and it is Freiburg 2, Bayer Leverkusen 3.
Thank you very much indeed, Gabe. Yannick Kettel, the German under-21 midfielder, has made it Freiburg 2, Bayer Leverkusen 3. Bayer Leverkusen will be hoping to hold on to all 3 points there in Germany and go back to being 10 points clear of Bayern Munich in second place after Bayern Munich won 4-2 away from home yesterday. The latest score in the Bundesliga, as I say, Freiburg 2, Bayer Leverkusen 3. In La Liga, it's Villarreal 0, Valencia 0. Villarreal missed a penalty in the opening half of the game, and it is now half-time there. It's also half-time between Las Palmas and bottom club Almeria, who are currently goalless, but 1-0 to 1-0 to the good at half-time in on the Canary Islands. Right near Gran Canaria is where Las Palmas play in the FA Cup. At Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 1, Liverpool 0. In Portugal, it's Chaves 1, Guimarães 0, Moreirense 1, Arouca 0. In the Eredivisie, it's currently Sparta Rotterdam 0, Ajax 0. In Belgium, it's Antwerp 0, Saint-Gilloise 0. They have kicked off, I think, in the second half between Leeds and Millwall. And in fact, on that note, feels like as good a time as any to cross over to Duca Dobma and get all the latest from, or in fact, let's get any updates we need to from you at, given that the second half has just got underway there, Duca.
Yeah, no changes at half-time for either side. Millwall obviously maybe could have done with a change, bit more firepower going forward. But Leeds just keep flying in this game. They're just so far in control. You can see there's a evident gap between the top end of the Championship and the mid-table sort of area. And you know, Leeds look destined to go up this season, and they've got a man in charge, and Daniel Farke, who knows exactly how to do that, having won the title twice with Norwich. So, Leeds looking very, very good here today. But 49 minutes played here at Ellen Road. Leeds 1, Millwall 0.
Leeds 1, Millwall 0. Leeds very much on top at Elland Road, but only 1 goal to the good. Let's cross back to Germany and get the latest from the game between Freiburg and Leverkusen, because Gabe Frith has news of the Nigerian international Nathan Tella joining the fray.
Yes, Nathan Tella substituted on for Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong, who's had an amazing day on that right-hand side, causing mayhem for the Freiburg fullbacks. Nathan Tella now on to the pitch. It's still Bayer Leverkusen in complete control. However, the scoreline will make Xabi Alonso very nervous, as we're in this 86th minute now. It is still Freiburg 2, Bayer Leverkusen 3.
Lovely stuff, Gabe. Thank you very much. Just going to bring you some latest scores from the Nigerian Premier League, by the way. 5 games currently underway there. Bayelsa United 0, Kano Pillars 1 is the latest score. Enugu Rangers 2, Lobi Stars 0. is the latest there. Gombe United 1-0 up at home to Aqua United. Katsina United 1, Plateau United 1, and Sporting Lagos 2, Kwara United 0. But there's been another goal at Old Trafford.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And it has gone the way of Liverpool. Liverpool have just had a goal disallowed for offside just a few moments ago, but it now looks like they have dragged themselves level through Alexis McAllister. Let's get the latest from Ed Dowling. Ed, any shades of VAR intervening in this one?
No, this one definitely counts. What a goal this is from Liverpool. It's Virgil van Dijk. It all starts from the back. Kwanzaa finds a lovely ball to Salah. There's some lovely interplay, lots of overlaps. Gomez is just driving. Nunes just lays the ball off the edge of the box. There's McAllister, and he hits it into Onana's near post. It just goes straight past him. Oh, it actually takes a big deflection. Onana does well, to be fair, to even get a hand on that. But that one's definitely counted. Liverpool right back in this game. 1-1 here, just before the break.
Approaching half-time at Old Trafford then, Manchester United 1, Liverpool 1 in the Championship between Leeds and Millwall. It's currently Leeds 1, Millwall 0 in La Liga. Las Palmas trailing at half-time to Almeria. But we will be bringing you updates from the second half between Villarreal and Valencia. That game is 0-0 in the Bundesliga. Borussia Dortmund and Eintracht Frankfurt will be kicking off in a few moments' time. But Freiburg 2, Bayer Leverkusen 3 is the latest score there. And in fact, let's get the latest from Gabe Frith, because there's been an opportunity for Bayer Leverkusen. They are in control, but the scoreline's tight, but they've just had an opportunity to double their advantage, Gabe.
Yes, Bayer Leverkusen determined to put this game to bed. It was Florian Wirtz dancing in and out of red and white shirts on the edge of the box. He laid it off to Granit Xhaka, and the former Arsenal captain lashed a shot with his left foot. Goalkeeper Noah Ataburlu did very well to get down and push it out to his right. Sildilia attempted to clear it. It went out for a corner, but the right back was very adamant that he should have had a free kick. The resulted corner didn't result in anything of note, and it is still Freiburg 2, Bayer Leverkusen 3, 89 minutes gone.
Thanks very much indeed, Gabe. Let's head to the championship game between Leeds and Millwall at Ellen Road, because, in fact, before we do that, there's been a goal again at Old Trafford, another goal.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
9,000 Liverpool fans have travelled to Old Trafford this afternoon. They get a larger, what's the word I'm looking for here? A contingent of Liverpool fans, possible shades of offside, I think, in the build-up to this one. Allocation. Thank you very much indeed, Ed Dowling, who's finally given me the word I was looking for there. But those 9,000 Liverpool fans have got something to really cheer about now. They had a goal disallowed, an equaliser disallowed a few moments ago. They then got themselves level through Alexis McAllister, and now it looks like Mohamed Salah has put them 2-1 up at Old Trafford. Ed Dowling.
Doesn't even celebrate. He just stands still, holds his hands up into the air. It's 2-1 to Liverpool. I have to say, I don't think this is deserved so far for the away side, but I'll run you through the goal anyway. It's Gomez. He's been so good. Wins the ball off Bruno Fernandes. He's complaining. The ball's headed out to Luis Diaz. He finds Nunes. Nunes is onside. His shot saved by Onana into Salah's path. Easiest job in the world to make it 2-1. I don't see this getting disallowed anytime soon. They are checking for something. They always are. The only thing I can think of would be a foul in the build-up, but Salah's onside, Nunes is onside. This should be 2-1 to Liverpool. But come back to me, Alex, because you know what VAR's like.
I certainly do. And it looks like that goal has been confirmed at Old Trafford. I think goal given. So it is now Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2. I think a few people were expecting Liverpool to win this game, but I don't think many were expecting that kind of scoreline to come against the run of play. 4 minutes have been signalled, by the way, in Germany between Freiburg and Bayer Leverkusen. It's still 3-2 to Bayer Leverkusen there. We are approaching half-time now at Old Trafford. That goal was squeezed in by Mohamed Salah a couple of minutes into injury time. 4 minutes of added time were originally signalled. They've more or less played all 4 of those, but there might be another minute or so of injury time played by the referee because of the delay for the long protracted VAR check for Mohamed Salah's goal, which has put Liverpool 2-1 up. The goal was given. Leeds 1, Millwall 0 is the latest from the Championship. It's still half-time between Villarreal and Valencia, but they'll be getting back underway in just a few moments' time. We'll be bringing you updates from that game when we are back. In a minute or two, we'll be handing back to FJ in Nigeria, but we're just waiting for that game between Manchester United and Liverpool to be called half-time. In fact, the half-time whistle has now gone at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2. Scott McTominay put Manchester United ahead before goals from Alexis McAllister, and Mohamed Salah turned the game on its ahead. So all to play for in the second half at Old Trafford. We'll be bringing you updates from there, from Elland Road, and from Spain, of course, as and when we get them. Freiburg 2, Bayer Leverkusen 3. It looks like Bayer Leverkusen are going to take all 3 points with them back to Leverkusen. But for now, we're going to hand you back to the wonderful FJ. This is Football Live.
This is Football Live with Alex Guilford.
Yes, welcome back to Football Live. Thank you very much to FJ for manning the ship for a couple of moments, just while we all grabbed a cup of tea. If you are just joining us here on Football Live, where on earth have you been? The goals have been absolutely flying in here. And in fact, there has been another goal here on Football Live in Spain.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
And while we were catching up with FJ there, I can tell you that Villarreal scored at home to Valencia. So they are now 1-0 up, Villarreal. They had missed a penalty a little bit earlier in the game. So that means we're going to cross to Jack Hessen now and get an update on Villarreal's opener there. Jack, what can you tell us?
Yeah, goal for Villarreal, and after some heroic goalkeeping from Amardashvili and goal to deny Santi Comensa from close range just a minute beforehand, the resulting corner whipped into the back post to Alex Soloff. Alex Soloff tried to head it across the face of goal. Mamardashvili came out to punch it, completely botches the punch, and the clearance falls gratefully to the head of Jorge Cuenca, the defender, who headed it in to an empty net. So after some excellent goalkeeping from the big Georgian, it was a mistake that has given Villarreal the lead here. 60 minutes on the clock. It's Villarreal 1, Valencia 0.
Lovely stuff, Jack. Thank you very much indeed. We were, of course, before our brief riposte there, bringing you updates from the big one in the FA Cup, the quarter-final between Manchester United and Liverpool. Liverpool were 2-1 to the good up at half-time, slightly against the run of play. The teams are back out for the second half, and in fact, I think the second half might have just got underway at Old Trafford. Nonetheless, let's get all the latest from Ed Dowling, first of all, of any team news at half-time. Ed.
And I can see so far in terms of changes, it's I imagine there's been some interesting discussions at half-time on both sides of the fence here. I think United first 30 minutes, the best I've seen them play in a long time actually this season. And then they go ahead, they just same old patterns, same old thing. And they go in 2-1 down. Quite frustrating, I imagine, if you're a United fan, you know, in the stadium or watching from home. I think there'll be a better second half here, but Liverpool, if they get the next goal, it could be done, and I think the crowd will turn quite quickly. But we've just seen the ball kicked off here for the second half. I'll let you know if anything happens in the next few minutes, Alex, but I can guarantee there's going to be more goals here. There's going to be cards, there's going to be drama. Really looking forward to it. Half-time just underway here at Old Trafford.
Thanks very much, Ed. I'm going to hold you to that. There better be some goals and some yellow cards, and if not, I will be coming for you, hunting you down. Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2 is the latest from Old Trafford. The second half has just got underway in that FA Cup quarter final. In the Championship, it's Leeds 1, Millwall 0. And we're going to get all the latest from Duka Dobma, because Duka, it's been a pretty lively game, I think it's fair to say. A couple of massive chances for Leeds since we last spoke, and another one for the away side Millwall. Tell us all.
Well, I'll tell you what, this game has definitely livened up a bit in terms of chances in the last sort of 15 minutes or so. Millwall making a quadruple change, which I've rarely ever seen in a game of football before. And that's massively helped them, I must say. They've had a couple of shots now. They've been getting forward a lot more, putting Leeds under a bit of pressure, but Leeds having the best chance in the last 15 minutes. It was Junior Firpo down the left-hand side, pulls it back to Jorginho Rutter, who's been so brilliant for Leeds this season, and he hits it straight straight at Sarkic, the goalkeeper, and then the rebound falls back out to Ruta, and he hits Sarkic on the head, I think, and then it hits the post and goes out. And then Mill had a fantastic chance for, I think it was Jake Cooper. The ball was pinballing about around the area, as you can imagine, with Mill, was all come from a set piece. And Jake Cooper gets something on the end of it, but it just goes wide. But still, Ellen Road here, it's Leeds 1, Millwall 0.
Thank you very much indeed, Duca. An entertaining afternoon's football on display at Elland Road. That game between Leeds and Millwall approaching its they're inside its final 15 minutes of normal time. Leeds currently 1 goal to the good. Just to remind you, the other games are bringing you live here on Football Live. Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2 in the FA Cup, Villarreal 1, Valencia 0 in La Liga. Earlier on the show, Chelsea I was going to sound a bit harsh this, but they squeezed past Leicester City in the FA Cup. Leicester City went down to 10 men and the scores were level heading into injury time. Chukwuemeka and Madueke scored for Chelsea in injury time. So a slightly flattering for Chelsea 4-2 scoreline. They were booed by their own fans. Kenny Chukwuemeka got the 3rd goal of the game in that one, which put the game beyond, which we'll hear from him in just a second. But before we do that, let's get the latest from Gabe Frith, who was at the game in Freiburg between Freiburg and Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen, which finished 3-2 to Bayer Leverkusen. Gabe, I think that scoreline doesn't tell the whole story.
No, well, there were plenty of goals here in Germany. Freiburg 2, Leverkusen 3. It was an exciting start to the game. The first 2 shots resulted in 2 goals. Wirtz opened the scoring inside 2 minutes. However, the lead was cancelled out by a Ritsu Doan equaliser. Bayer Leverkusen did end up regaining their lead courtesy of a finish from Adam Hozek, which gave them the advantage going into the break. And a fellow Czech international, Patrick Schick, added another to the score sheet in the second half to make it 3-1. But despite Leverkusen's persistent dominance in the second period, it was Freiburg who came back with a goal to make it 3-2 from Kittel, netting his first goal for Freiburg. And after a big chance from a corner at the end of 90 minutes and added time, the ball flew over the crossbar and the referee's final whistle went, and it ended Freiburg 2, Leverkusen 3.
Thank you very much, Gabe Frith. Superb work from him this afternoon, from you in Germany. Superb work from Gabe on his Football Live debut. I'm sure we'll be hearing from him in plenty of future shows. There are updates from Elland Road and indeed from the game in Spain to bring you. But before we do that, we're going to hear from Carney Chukwuemeka. We're going to hear what he had to say after he scored the pivotal goal in his side's 4-2 home victory against Leicester City. Let's hear from Carney
honestly,
Chukwuemeka.
it's just great atmosphere. Fans were amazing. And like you said, it's just an incredible game. Even before I came on, I was buzzing to get on the pitch and just get involved in the game. It was a top game. And I'm just happy to contribute with a goal. Got to give my creds to Cole. He's been amazing this season. I've had a hard time with injuries myself, so it was a bit of a relieving moment to get that goal and stuff. But yeah, I just thank God, over the moon. Yeah, it's been difficult, no one likes getting injured, but I believe that it was for a reason. As a believer, I believe that everything happens for a reason. God brings purpose out of every season and stuff. So I think that was just an opportunity for me to grow in faith and grow stronger mentally as well. And come back and just still show the world what I can do. So yeah,
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Yes, Carney Chukwuemeka there, but live at Elland Road right now, there has been another goal, and it has gone the way of Leeds United. They are at home to Millwall and now lead by 2-0, which means we have to cross to Duca Dobma and get the latest on that goal from him.
Yeah, that is definitely game done and dusted for Leeds United now. There's a brilliant bit of work on the left-hand side by Jorginho Rutter, who gets to the bar line, pulls the ball across for his 15th assist of the season. And Dan James is there, takes a touch, has all the time in the world from 8 yards out. No Millwall defender is closing him down, picks his spot and puts it in the back of the net. And right now, that puts Leeds United top of the table going into the international break. But here at Ellen Road, it's Leeds 2, Millwall 0.
Thanks very much, Duca. Latest score at Ellen Road. Leeds United 2, Millwall 0. The goals absolutely flying in here on Football Live this afternoon. As I mentioned a few moments ago, finished Chelsea 4, Leicester City 2 in the first FA Cup quarter-final of the day. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1 was the final score in the Premier League. It could have been 3-4 goals to West Ham and probably at least 2 or 3 to Aston Villa as well. A topsy-turvy game at the London Stadium. Verona 1, AC Milan 3 was the final score in Verona. Freiburg 2 by Leverkusen 3. It finished in Germany. It's currently Leeds 2, Millwall 0 in Elland Road. Villarreal 1, Valencia 0 is the latest score. And at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2. And Ed Dowling has an update there because there was an opportunity for Manchester United to equalise a couple of moments ago. Ed.
Yeah, Bruno picked the ball up on the left side and he tries to pass it either across the box or try and find Hoyland at the back post. Just seen a penalty appeal there, so stay with me in case anything's given. I don't think he's going to give it there, to be honest. But Bruno couldn't really get one or the other, and the ball just goes out for a goal kick. He's furious. He thinks it should have been a corner. No way it should have been a corner. And we're still 2-1 to Liverpool here. We just seen Nunes go down the other end of the pitch and miss just from inches away there. So it's a really open game here. I'm trying to just catch my breath, basically. But it's still 2-1, 53 minutes played. Again, it's going to change pretty soon, I'm sure of that.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed Dowling. I'm sure we will be crossing back to Old Trafford before too long. Darwin Núñez has just narrowly flashed a shot wide of Andre Onana's upright there, as he mentions. As I say earlier in the day, finished Chelsea 4, Leicester City 2. In the FA Cup. In the Premier League, it finished West Ham 1, Aston Villa 2. Yesterday's action was jam-packed, full of excitement here on Football Live as well. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Coventry City 3 was the final score at Molineux. Wolves were 1-0 down with less than 10 minutes left to play. 8 Nori dragged them level, and then Bueno put them ahead on the 88th minute. Then in the 97th minute of injury time, Coventry City's Ellis Sims got his second goal of the game and put them level, and the game seems to be heading to a replay until Coventry scored again in the 10th minute of injury time to put Coventry City through. Manchester City 2, Newcastle United 0 was a final score at the Etihad. We might hear from Eddie Howe in a moment or two. Mario Götze, by the way, has put Frankfurt 1-0 up at Borussia Dortmund at half-time. His old stomping ground, of course. Mario Götze, once the darling of German football, wasn't he? Scored the winner. I think he scored the winner in the World Cup final, didn't he? That lovely chest down and volley with his left foot. Hasn't really worked out for him since then. He moved to Bayern Munich that summer. But having a little bit of a renaissance, a career renaissance, I think it's fair to say, at Frankfurt. And he's put his new side 1-0 up at home to his old, they're away. Frankfurt are away at the Signal Iduna Park playing Borussia Dortmund, and Mario Götze has put his current side, Frankfurt, 1-0 up against his old side. Let's go back to Old Trafford and chat with Ed Dowling, because Manchester United have had a pretty poor start to the second half, Ed, and they've nearly they've nearly found themselves 2 goals to the deficit.
It's gone really flat, to be honest. It's gone really, really flat. The midfield is just getting bypassed right now by Liverpool. It just looks like they've run out of energy. I don't know, really, it's quite bizarre how poor United are playing as it stands right now. We've seen Bruno just skulking around. You know, he's complaining about absolutely everything, which, you know, it is his game. I appreciate he's not going to change that. It's not a good look, especially when, Garnacho's not really pressing. They're not getting on the ball at all. Liverpool are just taking shot after shot after shot. And Onana just had to make a good save from Szoboszlai, the edge of the area, to prevent it from becoming 3-1. So we'll see what's happening. The crowd are silent right now. It's not been very good. Not been a very good start to the second half. Let's hope, for Man United's sake, that it's not the same old patterns repeating themselves, because it's still, at 57 minutes gone, 2-1 here to Liverpool.
Ominous signs at Old Trafford for Manchester United fans. Liverpool in the driving seat, having been on the back foot for so much of the first half in particular, but finding themselves a goal to the good at half-time. Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2. As they approach the hour mark is the latest score from Old Trafford. I was just running you through the scores from yesterday prior to that development at Old Trafford, so I might as well finish off the scores in the Premier League. Burnley 2, Brentford 1. It finished at Turf Moor. Burnley with what could be an incredibly valuable 3 points, although they do look like they might be getting relegated at this stage, don't they? Luton Town 1, Nottingham Forest 1 was the final score at Kenilworth Road, and it finished Fulham 3, Tottenham Hotspur 0, much to the delight of producer for the afternoon, but Football Live head honcho Barry Swain, Fulham fan through and through, and not remotely smug at all, because producer John happens to be a Tottenham fan. So fantastic for Barry, and indeed for all Cottagers fans. We'll hear from Marco Silva in a few moments' time, his reaction to that game yesterday, once we've got the latest from Old Trafford and Spain. Let's go back to Ed Dowling. The free kick in dangerous territory here for the away side, Liverpool. And Bruno Fernandes, who we're just talking about, Ed, lucky to still be on the pitch.
Yeah, I'm really not happy. I'm not a Manchester United fan by any means, but it's not good enough. And he's very, very lucky to not be sent off from the edge of his own box. He's a crunching challenge on Szoboszlai. They got a really dangerous free kick as a result. He's very lucky to be on the pitch. That would be a yellow card, in my opinion, if he hadn't already been booked, and if it wasn't so early into this half. Really poor from him. Liverpool look the most likely to get the next goal. They're standing over this free kick. Come back to me in a few seconds or so if it goes in. But 59 minutes still. Man United 1, Liverpool 2. Just in the free kick go over the bar. But it was close from Alexis McAllister. It's not been good enough at all for Man United so far in the second half.
Oh dear, Ed Dowling not impressed with Eric Ten Hag's men and their performance at Old Trafford. We heard before the game both managers talking about the potential importance of that game, the significance to the fans. Manchester United frustrated that they haven't gone into the break at least level, and possibly guilty of allowing their emotions to get the better of them inside the opening 15 minutes or so of the second half. Before we go back to Ed Dowling and hear from Marco Silva, let's go to Jack Hesson in Villarreal, because there's a chance for the home side to double their lead, Jack.
Yeah, chances on both sides so far. It was nearly, though, one of the best own goals you might ever see from Villarreal. It was Alex Baena got a cross in towards the box, and the defender, Mosquera, it back-heeled clearance, nearly directed goalwards, and just went a yard from goal. The goalkeeper was rooted. It would have been an excellent own goal had it went in. For Valencia, they also had a chance just a couple of minutes ago. A corner from the far side, whipped in. Defender Cenk Oskar evaded everybody in the box. They fell to his feet, perfect for the first time finish, but could only guide it towards the grateful arms of Philip Jorgensen, and goals for Villarreal. So chances squandered for both sides here as we're coming into the closing stages. 77 minutes on the clock, still Villarreal 1, Valencia 0.
Thanks very much, Jack. We'll just stay with you for just a second if we can. Both of these sides will consider themselves to have had a bit of an underwhelming season. We're so used to thinking of these teams as sort of constants of European football, really. Valencia, I tend to think of them as being a Champions League side, and of course Villarreal have been there or thereabouts on a fairly regular occasion throughout the last couple of decades, but they're currently 12th and 8th respectively, both of these two both of these sides, so they'll consider it a disappointing campaign. I'm most curious about Valencia, though, because there's always complaints of Valencia about their owner, Peter Lim, who I'm sure lots of listeners will be fairly familiar with. He's not the most popular owner at Valencia, but I just wondered, with Villarreal with Valencia a goal to nil down so far in this game, is there anything positive for fans to take back to the Mestalla, for away fans to sort of be optimistic about, despite the fact they're currently losing?
I think from this game in particular, it's been a struggle for them. They've not really been in the game. Villarreal have certainly looked the better of the two sides, and it just doesn't feel like they've got that player that's got the spark in them that they've had. They've had big players in the past, and it just feels like a squad that is just lacking that one central talented player to really lift them forward. And I think that's reflected in really their position this season. I think for Villarreal, they were playing in Europe, so that's maybe had a factor in why they're not doing as well this season. But Valencia essentially have had a free hit at trying to move up the table, and they're sitting at about 6 or 7 points from the European places, so it's been a struggle for them. And yeah, they're still in this game at the moment, but it's not been positive, I don't think, so far in this game.
Lovely stuff, Jack. Thank you very much. We'll be coming back to you with updates as and when we need them. But for now, this is Football Live.
From the beginning.
You are listening to Football Live. Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
Join Trying to corner where the big boys play.
Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
What an afternoon of football.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could become very, very tasty.
It's been absolutely fantastic.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brilla FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM. Calling all high flyers who fancies a free flight on us. Naira Vegas are making it rain with 1 million, yes, 1 million free flights on Aviator. Claim unlimited flights with no minimum stake. The sky's the limit. Every day it will randomly rain free flights through the chat feature. Simply place your bets on Aviator and watch it rain free flights in the chat. Make sure you board the plane. You wouldn't want to miss out on a maximum multiplier of times 250,000. Full terms and conditions apply. Must click claim in the chat to be rewarded. Free flights for Aviator only. Must be 18 plus. Please play responsibly. Around the grounds, chasing the goals.
You are listening to Football Live.
Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
A good day for a game of football.
Next weekend is an international break.
Oh, yeah.
Football Live will be back in 2 weeks' time.
1, 2, 3, run it.
Live and exclusive on Brila FM.
And it's time to get straight into the action
When you hear that noise, you know there's been a goal.
with the best reporters in the business.
What an afternoon of football. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've got even more coming up for you.
With the best unrivaled football coverage on the air.
Football Live really is the place to be this afternoon.
The goals, the team news, all the updates, all the key action, scores from around Europe's top leagues, exclusive interviews, breaking news. This is Football Live. Let's get back to the action on Football Live. Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Alex Guilford.
It is indeed Football Live with me, Alex Guilford. Let's head to Old Trafford, where our feature game of the afternoon. This all-or-nothing contest between Manchester United and Liverpool at Old Trafford, quarter-final of the FA Cup. Manchester United, the best team in the first half, Ed, but they've been under the cosh in the second half. What's going on there?
They have. I mean, the majority of the game has been played in the Man United half. Liverpool, where we've not really seen Kiva Kelleher tested too much in the second half. It's been all Liverpool. Mohamed Salah absolutely running the show. He's miles clear of anyone else on the pitch right now. We'll see what kind of changes that Erik ten Hag wants to make. I think he's got to freshen things up a slight bit. Scott McTominay, I know he gets a lot of criticism and he has scored today. I don't really see what he offers aside from getting those tap-ins, when he needs to get them. And they got Rasmus Højlund to do that. So I suspect he might be one of the first to get changed. Bruno never goes off, but we'll have to see what happens with him. He's not had a good game at all so far. But we'll see. I mean, we've got half an hour at least to go in this game. It could go either way, but on current showings in this second half, it's all Liverpool. But 66 minutes gone, still 2-1 to Liverpool here at Old Trafford.
Thanks very much, Ed. It's looking a little bit dour if you are a Manchester United fan. Manchester United fans, we want to hear from you when we hand back to FJ. What do you make of your side's performance so far this afternoon? Get your calls in and let him know. Meanwhile, 6 minutes of injury time have been signalled at Elland Road. Duka Dobma is there for us. Leeds United in that injury time have struck the post as well. Duka, tell us about that little opportunity there for Leeds to get their third.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Dan James has come off the bench and set the game alight, scored a goal, and just now, just into added time, he gets the ball on the right-hand side, cuts in on his left, and hits a cracking shot across goal. And it rattles the inside of the post and unfortunately goes back out. But yeah, this game is all done and dusted here now at Elland Road. Still Leeds 2, Millwall 0, about a minute left to play.
Thanks very much indeed, Duka. You can't help but have a bit of a soft spot, I don't think, for a player like Dan James. Works so hard, isn't the most naturally gifted footballer on the planet, is he? But does whatever he can for his side. Never leaves anything. Leaves everything out there on the pitch, I think is the turn of phrase I am looking for there. Meanwhile, in Spain, there's been another chance for Villarreal to double their lead. Jack Hesson is there for us.
Oh, what a chance for Villarreal. Danny Bermejo spots the run of Santi Comensaño on the right-hand side. He's in bags of space. It's poor defending from Valencia. He then squares it into the middle for substitute Gerard Moreno. He tries a first-time finish with the left foot to the bottom left-hand corner. It looks destined for the goal. But Mamardashvili once again to the rescue for Valencia. He may have been at fault for that opening goal for Villarreal, but he's really stopped this from being more here. 84 minutes on the clock. Villarreal 1, Valencia 0.
Lovely stuff, Jack. Thank you very much. The latest scores then. Villarreal 1, Valencia 0 in Spain. Also in Spain, but perhaps geographically a little bit closer to Africa, but nonetheless on the Canary Islands, part of Spain, technically part of mainland Spain. Las Palmas 0, Almeria 1. Bottom club, Almeria, might be in for their first 3 points of the season. A goal to 0 up at Las Palmas. 21-year-old Nigerian Ibrahim Said has been red carded in the Danish Super League, by the way, for Viborg. They're away at Lyngby. Let's just do the latest odds from NairaBet.com. Villarreal 1, Valencia 0, as I mentioned a few moments ago. 1.13 for the home win, 7.0 for the draw, 51.0 if you fancy Valencia to turn that one around in the last 5 minutes of the game. Las Palmas to turn it around at home to Almeria. Much shorter odds there, much higher probability, but still pretty decent value, pretty long odds. 19.0 if you fancy them to turn it around in the final 6 minutes of that game, currently trailing 1-0 to Almeria. Man United 1, Liverpool 2, latest score there, 19.0 if you fancy Manchester United to turn that game around. 20 minutes left there. Manchester United 19.0. Goodness me. The analysts at NairaBet.com not optimistic at all about Manchester United's opportunities. Chances there, rather. 5.5 is the draw, 1.22 for Liverpool. So very much looking, according to NairaBet.com anyway, like it will be Liverpool advancing to the semi-final of the FA Cup. Full-time whistle has gone at Leeds against Millwall. So let's very quickly get the latest from Duka Dobma there. In fact, let's get a full-time report from you, Duka. An entertaining game there at Elland Road.
Yeah, certainly entertaining. It started off very cagey. A lot of fouls flying all over the place. A lot of yellow cards flying all over the place. It seemed like there was a wrestling match at some points during the game. And it took just before half-time for a bit of magic, a bit of just wonderful play from Willy Nonto, the Italian winger, cutting in on his left foot and hitting a shot from about 25 yards out past Sarkic to give Leeds the lead going into half-time. And the second half started off with a similar sort of fashion that the first half did. Again, very scrappy, a lot of yellow cards flying around the place, but a bit of wonderful work down the left-hand side by Jorginho Rutter, putting a ball back to Dan James, who had all the time in the world to score Leeds' second of the game. and make it 2-0 and put the game to bed. Leeds had a couple of chances there and in. Millwall, nothing to really scream home about from this game. Didn't really create much at all. But Leeds 2, Millwall 0. Leeds currently sitting top of the Championship. Full time here at Ellen Road.
Thank you very much indeed, Duka Dobmer, who was at Ellen Road for us this afternoon, where Leeds have turned Millwall over by 2-0. Let's head back to Old Trafford and get the latest there. I promise producer Barry Swain that we're going to hear from Fulham manager Marco Silva in a few moments' time. But first of all, we need an update from Old Trafford from Ed Dowling. Couple of substitutions for both sides here.
Yeah, we've seen Rasmus Højlund and Wan-Bissaka substituted. Rasmus Højlund just didn't really have a kick, to be honest. And Wan-Bissaka, who actually played quite well, but he saw him move to that left-back position, which I didn't really understand from the manager. And then from Liverpool's side, Szoboszlai, who actually had a very good game today, has been replaced by Harvey Elliott. So a bit of changes for both sides there. Wouldn't be the changes that I'd necessarily make from a Man United point of view, with Harry Maguire and Anthony coming on. But we'll have to see how they affect the game. You know, we've got at least 20 minutes left, and we'll see if they can make an impact. But still, Liverpool are leading here at Old Trafford.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed. We'll be heading back to Ed in a few moments' time. I mentioned a few odds on NiroBet.com earlier. I'll just give you a couple more. By the way, I meant to say at that point in time, all odds are, of course, subject to change, courtesy of NiroBet.com, so just be mindful of that. In the Eredivisie, Ajax's poor season isn't going very well again. They are currently 2-0 down away at Sparta Rotterdam. The latest score at the Signal Iduna Park, by the way, is Borussia Dortmund 1, Eintracht Frankfurt 1. Karim Adeyemi has equalised for Borussia Dortmund, scored that magnificent solo goal in the Champions League group stage against Chelsea earlier in the season, of course, did Adeyemi, and is in and amongst the goals again for Borussia Dortmund this afternoon. If you fancy a little flutter on that, courtesy of NiroBet.com, by the way, 1.80 is a home win for Borussia Dortmund. 3.6 is the draw as it currently stands. 4.75 if you fancy Frankfurt to leave the Signal Iduna Park with all 3 points. In Ligue 1, it's half-time between Rennes and Marseille. Rennes 1, Marseille 0 is the latest from that game in France. 1.62 on NiroBet.com if you fancy Rennes to hold on to all 3 points. 3.6 if you fancy a draw. 6.5 for an away win if you think Marseille can rouse themselves and leave Stade Rennes with all 3 points. 5 minutes have been added on in Villarreal in their game at home to Valencia. They're currently 1-0 up. So we'll get the latest from Jack Hesson in a few moments' time. But I think finally, we've only got a couple of games where the clock is still ticking here on Football Live. I think finally we can finish looking back at yesterday's action. Of course, the main takeaway from the FA Cup was Wolverhampton Wanderers losing 3-2 at home to Coventry City. But the main story in the Premier League was Fulham beating Tottenham Hotspur, who certainly have Champions League ambitions, I think it's fair to say, this season, vying for a place in the top 4, and indeed victory yesterday would have taken them into that top 4. But unfortunately for Tottenham Hotspur fans, they lost 3-0 away at Fulham. And let's have a listen now to see what Marco Silva, the Fulham manager, had to say at the end of that game in the wake of his side's victory.
Yes, I have to say that it's there on the top, really. If not the best, is one of the best. First half, clear, was our best half this season, because I think we did it. The players, they did it brilliant. Was almost a complete, really, performance in the first half. Of course, it was crucial the moment that we scored the goal, but first 20-25 minutes we did create so many dangerous moments around their box. Some inside the 6-yard box as well. Some very good moments for us to score in the game, and we're really solid as a team. We define really well the moments to press a little bit more high them, and other moments to be solid in the middle block.
Marco Silva there, effusing praise on his team for their resilient performance at home to Tottenham Hotspur yesterday. His Fulham side have had a couple of decent results, haven't they, against the so-called bigger teams. They, of course, took all 3 points back to West London when they visited Old Trafford earlier in the season. And late Alex Iwobi goal a couple of weeks ago saw them win 2-1. I think general consensus was they were much the better side when they visited Old Trafford as well, and they were certainly by some distance the better side yesterday after having to admittedly ride a bit of an early storm. Nonetheless, in our feature game of the afternoon, the quarter-final FA Cup clash between Manchester United and Liverpool still ticking away. Manchester United struggling to get back on terms here, 2-1 down at the moment. Possible sign of Jurgen Klopp's confidence that this game is sewn up, Ed, that he's taken off 2 of his most important players.
Maybe he thinks the game is all sewed up and done. We don't know. I think Salah had a really good game, made such a good impact when he was on the field. And maybe it's a case of managing his minutes at this point in the season. Obviously, Liverpool got a lot more important games to come. And Robertson, just didn't have a lot to do. So I think he's just rotating around, give Gakpo some minutes. I don't think he's found the form that I think Liverpool fans would have liked him to have found. So maybe it's an opportunity for him to do that there. And obviously, Connor Bradley, the youngster coming on, he's very much a safe pair of hands on that right side. So we'll see if they can close out this game. We've seen United growing into it a bit more. I have to say, the last 10, 15, 20 minutes, absolutely nothing has happened. The game is just passing me by, passing them by, passing everyone by. So last sort of 10, 15 minutes here, we'll hope for some late drama at Old Trafford. But it's still 2-1 to Liverpool against Manchester United.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed Dowling. Latest updates from Old Trafford there. A little over 10 minutes of normal time left to play, and it's Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2. Nothing too much for Manchester United fans to get excited about this half, despite being the better side throughout much of the first half. They went into the break 2-1 down and haven't been able to reverse that. Liverpool haven't had to work too hard so far in this second half, although not a huge amount appears to have gone their way either, but just a bit of game management. Let's head to Villarreal, where Jack Hesson has been for us this afternoon at the Estadio de la Ceramica. Hopefully I haven't butchered that Spanish pronunciation too much, Jack, but it's finished 1-0 there.
Yeah, the Yellow Submarine have sunken Valencia in the derby, and what ended up being a relatively comfortable win against a toothless Valencia side. It was Valencia who had the glut of the opening chances. They missed a one-on-one opportunity with Hugo Doro, and then it was the goalkeeper for them, Mamardashvili, forced into some excellent saves against Villarreal, particularly from a penalty just before half-time by Alex Baena, saved to the bottom right-hand corner. But it was his mistake in the second half from a botched, punched clearance that fell gratefully to Jorge Coenza for Villarreal to put it into an open net and give Villarreal the opening goal. From then, Villarreal really dominating the chances in the game, forcing Mamardashvili and go into some excellent saves. Valencia didn't really look like they had anything going forward, and in the end, it finished 1-0. That leaves Valencia staying 8th on the table. Villarreal move up to 9th, just 2 points behind, having played a game more. They host Atletico Madrid after the international break, and Valencia will host Mallorca. So all in all, a great win for Villarreal in the derby. Full time here, Villarreal 1, Valencia 0.
Lovely stuff, Jack. Always a pleasure to have Jack Hesson on the show in Villarreal for us this afternoon, where Villarreal have squeezed past Valencia 1-0. They missed a penalty earlier in the game, but largely, I think, had probably control of the tie between them. Ed Dowling's at Old Trafford for us, where it remains Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2. Slightly interesting move tactically from Eric Ten Hag here. I think it's fair to say, Ed, because he's taken off arguably one of his best players so far this season.
He has. No, Mainu was the best player in a Manchester United shirt for the game. He had a really good first half, actually. And it's certainly not his fault that his team are in the position they're in. But he's coming. You bring Eriksen on. Obviously, Eriksen's got quality, but he hasn't really got legs. One thing Liverpool do have is legs in midfield, so we'll be interesting to see how that works out for him there. But yeah, Mainu had a great performance from him. Another one of the few bright sparks, I guess, in what's been a very disappointing season for Manchester United. And I think you're seeing the reaction online. A lot of United fans thought he played really well. But Eriksen, it's his time to make a difference. He's got the quality. Can he make Liverpool pay? That's the question. 10 minutes left here. Should be setting up a grandstand finish, but last few minutes have been very poor indeed, quality-wise. So we'll have to hope for a change here, Alex.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed. We keep our fingers crossed for a slightly more exciting final 10 minutes or so than we've been witness to in the previous half an hour of the game at Old Trafford. Meanwhile, in Holland, English-Nigerian forward Chupa Akpom has scored for Ajax. They were 2-0 down away at Sparta Rotterdam. It's now 2-1 in Rotterdam. Can Ajax squeeze at least a point out of that game? It was such a disappointing season to be start of the season for Ajax. It's fair to say that I think certainly their fortune's been turned around somewhat. They now sit 5th in the Eredivisie. When you think of the terrible state they were in earlier in the season, fan protests, games being abandoned, and then the remainder of the game having to be played at lunchtime on a Tuesday and fans not allowed to go back. If you think the position they're in now, they're 5th in the table. It's a pretty remarkable turnaround, but they are 29 points as it stands behind PSV. PSV have at least a game in hand, possibly 2 at the top of the league. They're 7 points clear of second placed Feyenoord. Let's have a look at the latest scores. In fact, let's have a look at the results in the Nigerian Premier League this afternoon. There was no fewer than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games there. There's currently 1 live score between Shooting Stars and Remo Stars. Shooting Stars currently 1-0 up in that. Rivers United beat Heartland 1-0 at home. Bendel Insurance ran out 4-0 winners over Doma United. Abia Warriors 0, Sunshine Stars 0 was a full-time score. Enugu Rangers 2, Lobi Stars 1. It was also 2-1. Finished 2-1. Enugu Rangers 2, Lobi Stars 1. If I can eventually get the words out properly, it was also 2-1 to Bielsa United in their game at home to Kano Pillars. Sporting Lagos beat Kwara United 2-0, and Yimba 3, Niger Tornadoes was a final score. Gombe United 1, Aqua United. It finished in Gombe, and Katsina United beat Plateau United by 2-1. But just to remind you, the latest score in the Nigerian Premier League, it is Shooting Stars 1, Remo Stars 0. They're just approaching half time in that one. I wonder if we can can I get quickly up on my monitor here the latest odds on NairaBet from that one? Yes, I can. Shooting Stars 1-0 to the good, 1.12. If you fancy Shooting Stars to take all 3 points home from that one, well, they're at home. If you fancy them to take all 3 points come the end of the game, currently leading by a single goal to 0. More of that anon, because there's been a goal at Old Trafford.
The goals, powered by NairaBet.
Interesting development at Old Trafford. Manchester United have been dreadful in this half. 2-1 down at halftime, despite being the best side probably in the opening exchanges. But it's now 2-2. Manchester United have equalised at Old Trafford. It's currently Manchester United 2, Liverpool 2 in the dying stages of the game between Manchester United and Liverpool. And it's the much maligned Brazilian winger, Anthony, who has dragged them level in this game. That will probably do what's been a real knock to his confidence, I think, so far this season. Had a terrible second season at Manchester United, hasn't he? The Brazilian winger, but he's put his side level. And Ed Dowling has the latest from Old Trafford for us. Ed.
There is a late twist. Wow. Can't believe what I've just seen there. It's a hopeful through ball from Scott McTominay. Actually, it's a really bad deflection. Anthony picks it up, finds Garnacho on the wing. Garnacho hasn't done anything this game. He cuts in, he finds Anthony. There's a bit of a deflection, but Anthony does so well. He spins, finishes on his right foot into the bottom right corner. I'd never call that in a million years. But it's a great goal for the Brazilian. And he's put his side back in the game. 2-2 here at Manchester United. 5 minutes left of normal time.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed. 5 minutes of normal time left at Old Trafford, and Anthony has put Manchester United level. 2-2 is the latest score there. I have to say, I've seen Anthony play a couple of times. I've been to Old Trafford once or twice when he's been on the pitch. He doesn't appear to have a right foot at all, but this goal perhaps evidence that he should use it a little bit more often on the turn in the box. He has slotted the ball into the bottom corner on his weaker right foot, and Manchester United, completely against the run of play in the second half at Old Trafford, find themselves 2 goals to 2 at home to Liverpool. Opportunity for Manchester United to turn that one around. Liverpool have hit the woodwork, I think, and that we'll get an update on that from our man Ed Dowling. In fact, let's go over to Ed now. Ed, it's all going on since that equaliser. What happened there?
It was. I was just watching the replay of the Anthony goal, and then it cuts. The feed I've got cuts, and it's just Harvey Elliott down the complete other end of the pitch, and he's trying to whip it in with his right foot. He's a left-footed player by trade, and it just cannons off the right side, or the left post, I should say, and comes out, and Luis Diaz can't finish from there. It's really unlucky from Liverpool, but I think if that had gone in, it would have also been very fortunate for them too. 2-2 here, and I told you it's going to be a grandstand finish at Old Trafford.
You certainly did, Ed. So Manchester United 2, Liverpool 2, the latest from Old Trafford. About a minute or so of normal time left to play. Liverpool just hitting the post via Harvey Elliott. His right-footed cross, perhaps a bit fortuitous to hit Andre Onana's woodwork, but nonetheless, it hasn't gone in. Manchester United on the attack as we speak, so we'll be getting the latest from Ed Dowling in a few moments' time. If you do fancy a bet, just as we approach added time in that game, Manchester United 11.0 now to win that in injury time. 1.29 is the draw, so that's where there's the least value. 4 minutes of injury time have been signalled. 5.5 if you fancy Liverpool to grab themselves a third goal in that game and advance to the next round of the FA Cup, avoiding a replay. As it stands, of course, there will be a replay at Anfield in, I imagine, a couple of weeks' time. Possibly the last round of replays for the round of 16 were midweek, so there might be a slightly awkward midweek fixture between these two sides. Manchester United not in Europe, of course. Liverpool still in the Conference League, so it will depend on their fixture list whether there is a replay midweek or whether it will take place at a weekend instead of either side's Premier League fixtures. I think now might be just a little bit good time as we are in the dying minutes of injury time there, just to hear from Vincent Kompany, I think, because yesterday his Burnley side got a pretty valuable win at home to Brentford. Brentford went down to 10 men pretty early on. Sergio Reguilon was deemed to have not made an effort to win the ball fairly. I think he brought down David Fofana. Fofana was in and amongst it throughout much of the game. Bryn Larson scored the resulting penalty. Fofana missed an absolute sitter in the first half, but scored with a lovely first-time finish just after the hour mark. Ayer got one back for Brentford. But let's have a little listen to what Vincent Kompany had to say. He's talked very positively about his side throughout much of the season, despite losing. Yesterday, they got a very valuable win.
Well, I enjoyed it, so I hope that everyone else did enjoy it as much as I did. And I think we put in a lot of work. Tomorrow we'll work again. I wish sometimes I could just show the amount of energy that we have in the place, because it's tough, like you have to build yourself up every single time. And then especially West Ham last weekend, and, you give away the lead last minute, you have a big chance again. But the lads do it. They master the art of getting themselves back up and putting in a fight. And today the energy from the beginning within Turf Moor was what it needed to be.
Vincent Kompany there talking effusively about the atmosphere at Turf Moor yesterday. Liverpool a little bit on the back foot in the closing stages of the game at Old Trafford. Let's have a catch up with Ed Dowling with the latest there. Since that Man United equaliser, they've certainly seemed to have got their act together a little bit, Ed.
All Man United last 5 minutes, it's just been chance after chance after chance. Liverpool defending really, really deep here. United have been really poor, to be honest, for about 60 minutes in this game. But they've turned it on when they've needed to. Bit of quality from Ante, really. To be fair, a lot of credit has to go to him. That was a really fantastic goal. And it's really inspired his team and the fans here. It's been silent all game. So we've got about a minute or two left of added time. And it only looks like one team's going to get the goal, and that's Manchester United, but still 2-2 here. 93 minutes on the clock, we've got one more left of added time.
Thanks very much, Ed. A slight case possibly of too little too late for Manchester United. That's been occasionally, it seems to have been the story of their season, doesn't it? They seem to sort of blow hot and cold, slightly strange intervals. Seem to be completely out of certain games at various points, but then they come to life a little bit later on. But as Ed Dowling was saying a few moments ago, it's not quite enough here at Old Trafford. It doesn't look like it's quite going to be enough to get them through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Just the closing stages of injury time left to play there. It sounds like, in fact, let's go back to Ed Dowling. Ed, it's been a terrible, terrible miss for Marcus Rashford.
Well, the full-time whistle has just gone, and Manchester United and Marcus Rashford, I cannot believe he's missed this. It could have been a question of offside, but the ball goes over the top. He said there's no one around him. All he has to do is just pass it into the net, and the ball just goes wide of the right post. That would have been it. That would have wrapped the game up for Manchester United. Probably their best result of the season so far. But instead, we're heading to extra time. Penalties. Really devastating stuff for the home side, but Liverpool hanging on here. It's 2-2 at Old Trafford.
Oh, we are heading to extra time penalties. I thought we had a replay. My apologies, listeners. It looks like we're that is not the case. That serves me right for not being up to date with this stage of the FA Cup. The FA Cup replays, of course, came in the earlier rounds of the FA Cup. So I believe the show, unfortunately, will be ending, I think, at 5:30 as planned, but I'll wait on Barry Swain, wait on his signal as to whether or not that is the case, because they are going to play half an hour of extra time at Old Trafford before they go to penalties if the score remains level after 120 minutes. So we'll just have a little communicate with our wider team at Brilla FM. Just to ascertain whether or not we are going to stay with you and bring you updates from extra time at Old Trafford. It sounds like we probably are going to stay with you. The two teams are just having a bit of a drinks break at the moment before extra time gets underway. Let's just, in that case, have a quick a quick breather for everyone. This is Football Live.
And they've got to play 3-4-3 looks like.
Absolute chaos. Hello and a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
What an afternoon of football.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could become very, very tasty.
It's been absolutely fantastic.
In the Premier League, you just never know.
You are listening to Football Live on Brilla FM 88.9 and 101.1 FM. Domestic football is back and NairaBet has you covered. Fancy a free bet to get the season underway? Place an ACCA with 11 plus selections and get a 500 Naira free bet every day. Football is finally flowing again and you have plenty to pick from. Whether it is the Premier League, Ligue 1, La Liga, MLS or even the Saudi Pro League, make it more interesting with NairaBet. All you need to do is head to the website and place your combi bet to get involved. Must be 18 plus, maximum of 1 free bet awarded each day. Minimum stake of 500 Naira, minimum odds of 1.2 per selection. General and free bet terms and conditions apply. Visit www.nairabet.com/bonus for full details. Please gamble responsibly.
You are listening.
You are listening.
You are listening
to Football Live.
To Football Live.
To Football Live.
On Brilla FM.
Around the grounds, chasing the goals.
You are listening to Football Live.
Live and exclusive on Brilla FM.
A good type of game of football.
Next weekend is an international break.
Oh yeah!
Football Live will be back in 2 weeks' time.
1, 2, 3, run it!
Live and exclusive on Brilla FM.
It's time to get straight into the action
When you hear that noise, you know there's been a goal.
with the best reporters in the business.
What an afternoon of football. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've got even more coming up for you.
With the best unrivaled football coverage on the air.
Football Live really is the place to be this afternoon.
Let's get back to the action on Football Live.
Hit it, boys.
Powered by NairaBet. This is Football Live with Alex Guilford.
Yes, Football Live here with Alex Guilford. Just to remind you, at Old Trafford, it is currently Manchester United 2, Liverpool 2. We will not be bringing you the latest on that. Unfortunately, we'll be handing back to FJ in just a few moments' time. But if you are just tuning in, where have you been? A wonderful afternoon of football. Chelsea 4, Leicester City 2 earlier on in the FA Cup. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1 in the Premier League. Verona 1, AC Milan 3 in Serie A. Freiburg 2, Bayer Leverkusen 3 in the Bundesliga. Goals galore everywhere. Leeds United 2, Millwall 0, Villarreal 1, Valencia 0, and Manchester United 2, Liverpool 2 is the latest from Old Trafford. It's been an absolute delight to steer the ship for you. Sorry for the slight confusion over whether or not we'd be sticking around with you for the rest of extra time. But it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to my wonderful team of reporters for guiding me through the last 4.5 hours or so. Superb work from absolutely everyone. And of course, special thanks to our producer for the afternoon, Barry Swain, our head honcho here at Football Live. I have been Alex Guilford. It's been a delight to be joined by you this afternoon. Dear listener, enjoy the rest of your day. This has been Football Live.
You have been listening to Football Live, exclusive to Brilla FM, sponsored by NairaBet.